When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people.
Good afternoon or good night. Welcome to the Make We Talk program. This on the Make We Talk YouTube channel, Facebook, and other portal. We're going to talk about the Up Jamaica political movement. We have with us this evening Mr. Mark Cameron, leader of the Up Jamaica movement.
One of the leaders.
Pardon me?
One of the
leaders. Yes, one of the leaders. One of the leaders of the Up Jamaica movement, and also Howard A. McDonald, a chartered accountant, chartered public accountants. He has a law degree. He has so many things behind his name. CPA, CFE, JD. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Tell us, Mr. McDonald. Let us start with Sir Cameron first. Tell us about the Up Jamaica movement.
Up Jamaica movement is an entity that was created because of the need for change in our country. We are a non-for-profit organization with a political arm. We decided over a period of years that if we do not make the necessary changes as soon as possible, Jamaica will not be able to rebound from what is the pending danger that we see ahead of us. So it's really based on a concern based on our citizens wanting change. We believe that most of Jamaicans are disenfranchised. We do not have a say in how our policies are written. And it's a duopoly governance. It's a governance with JLP and PMP against the Jamaican people. And we decided that the criminality and the lack of accountability and lack of transparency has to change. And we decided that as people that care about our country and want a better Jamaica, we believe that, it's now or never, We believe that we have to make this change now because it's getting from bad to worse. Look at the criminality that's going on, the corruption. I mean, Jamaicans are tired of that. We just don't feel like we're being represented by the people that said they're on our side. So that's why we started this movement, yes. In a nutshell.
We also have joining us well-known Jamaican attorney at law, retired FBI agent, the son of the soil, the man who hailed from Waterhouse, my good friend Wilfred Rattigan. Mr. Rattigan, welcome to the program, sir. Are we hearing you?
Mr. Tavares, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, all Waterhouse hearing you.
Yes, sir. Regards to the esteemed panel, Mr. Cameron, Mr. McDonald, and your listening and viewing audience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McDonald, tell us who you are. How did you join? How did you become a part of the Up Jamaica movement? What inspired you to decide to be a part of this movement?
Well, let me just make it quick. Up Jamaica is an offshoot of the UIC. We're the ones who left the UIC as the core members, the people who were in charge of the UIC that was more or less criminalized by Mr. Patterson. So we decided as a core member
Criminalized. That's a very strong word.
It's strong because we had our faces on Facebook posted with an X and said, don't give this, don't give that, as we're criminals. So what we decided to do is that we have a lot of integrity and we believe in transparency and accountability. And we don't care who it is. If it was the president and he was the president of the UIC, and we're like, no, you got to be accountable to the people. And if you're going to start behaving like this in this small group, then what would you do for the people of Jamaica? And we have to put it in the bud before it festers. You know what I'm saying? I'm an accountant. I do fraud examination, like white collar crimes. So once I see things start going, to the left, I'm like, no, something is wrong with this picture. So we decided as a core group, the duly elected group of the UIC, to form another group. And we all went together as the executive council. We left and we decided that, you know what, the people of Jamaica deserves more. I could have just walked away and said, you know what, I don't trust politics. But when I come back to Jamaica and I see what's going on, I left over 35 years ago in the diaspora and I came back, Jamaica has not changed one bit. Every time during an election session, you see them trying to fix road or they're paying people to go vote. Nothing has changed. And we need to get rid of this cronyism, nepotism, and all that, and serve the people instead of trying to rule the people. We need to know what the people want. Let's ask the people, what's priority? In my head, crime is priority. It might not be the priority of other people, but if we get a consensus of what we need to do in Jamaica to make Jamaica work for the diaspora and the local people who lives here, then we can decide how we move forward. Is it going to happen in 1 to 2 years? No. It might be 15 to 20, 30 years, but we have to start somewhere. And we need to get rid of these two parties that has traumatized the society. I grew up in the ghetto, so I know how it is. We need to have change that people can believe in, change that people, the diaspora has a skin in the game for this type of change. We all need to get involved if we want to change. We can't sit down in the USA, Canada, or Britain and say, boy, Jamaica bad, we need to change it. We have to come here and change it because most of us, once we get to a certain point, we want to move back because home is always home. And that's why we started this movement as an offshoot of the UIC.
Let me ask you a question before I have Wilfred Rattigan come in. Why you said that the UIC is in other words, let me phrase it this way, a criminal organization.
Sit. You're breaking up.
Oh Lord. Are you hearing me loud? You hear me better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying to you, you use the word criminal. It's a very strong word to use. Why did you use that word about the UIC?
Well, the UIC considered us criminal when they posted our pictures on Facebook with an X on our faces saying, do not donate. So they were saying that we did something wrong. However, to the contrary, we're the one who stood up for transparency and accountability. And that's where the issue was. So I don't think the UIC or the leadership of the UIC really want to help Jamaican people because you can't keep asking for money, and we don't see where it's being spent. It's not being spent on the candidates or anyone. So if you're going to take people's money, I'm an accountant, right? We have accountability. Yeah. So I can't go out there and say, I'm the accountant or the treasurer for the UIC, but yet I can't give full accountability to the people. We all have to be accountable and held responsible for everything that we do. And that's what we want to have in Jamaica, Jamaica wants to have in Jamaica.
I'll let Mr. Rattigan come in now. I have some more questions, but Mr. Rattigan come. Sir Rattigan, go ahead, sir.
Yes. You can hear me, right, Jeff?
Loud and clear, all Waterhouse hearing you.
Yes, sir. Mr. McDonald and Mr. Cameron, good evening again, sir.
Good evening. Good evening,
sir.
Before I get into the purpose of the UIC, because I heard where you said that the Up Jamaica movement is an offshoot of the UIC. Before I get into the philosophy of the Up Jamaica movement and the UIC, can you tell us the real reason why you left? Is it only because there were some financial irregularities or they put your face up, say, on Facebook? I'm trying to understand, why did you Because I take it that you still subscribe to the philosophy of the UIC, right?
Okay.
But you left because of personal. Okay.
The constitution of the UIC is solid. We had no issue with the constitution. The issue that we had was that the Pattersons wanted more money. And I'm the treasurer, and I know we didn't have the money, right? And if people are donating money, for instance, for legal fees, it should be specific for legal fees.
Mm.
If money is coming in for candidates, since we're asking money to fund candidates, the money should be going to the candidates. But so we can't take the money that's coming in to give to the Pattersons alone, husband and wife, right? And not giving any money to the candidates. Then they tell the candidates, oh, you're volunteers, you need to come up with your own money. That makes no sense to me. So I left because of the fact that there was no accountability. And if the head of the stream is dirty, it's gonna flow through. The bottom of the stream is gonna get dirty too. So if the head is dirty, I am not gonna stay with that head. We need to chop it off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason it has nothing to do with personal anything. It has to do with people being accountable. You can't say you resign and then you change your mind and you didn't resign anymore. And the fact that I'm on this program, to tell the truth, it's not really to speak about the UIC, because I think they're dead on arrival, because they're not for the people. I'm not doing this for me. I could come home and retire and be fine. But when I come home and I see my neighborhood and the same type of life, the youth on the street, nothing for them to do, is a problem for me, because what's going to happen? I might become a target of one of these youths who have nothing to do. We need to find stuff for them to do. And we have a program that we can set up to ensure that these youths get educated, right? And get employment so that they don't have to do what they're currently doing.
All right. You said that the UIC is not for the people, but you just said that a few moments ago. But then I heard you say that the issue, and correct me if I'm wrong, the issue you had was not with the philosophy. It wasn't personal. It was just accountability. That the monies came in for a particular purpose, and Mr. Patterson wanted it to be diverted, and he wanted to share in some of those funds when those funds should have been earmarked for a particular purpose. Am I correct? Or
no, he didn't want it to be diverted. He took the money for him and his
wife.
he
took it. Oh,
yes,
okay.
for personal purposes. That's what he did. So if it was being diverted to some other areas within the UIC and we agreed upon it, that's fine. But you can't want to take all the money for yourself, right? And not giving it to candidates who are working tirelessly, volunteering. Okay. That's what it was.
All right. So, well, if you didn't have a problem with the philosophy and the only problem you have was with him, wouldn't it, why didn't you find it plausible, palatable, then to rid the UIC of that leadership and remain within the UIC, and then not having to come out and start all over by forming another party?
And that's a good point, because a third party, to me, this is a movement. Makes no sense. What we did is we said he resigned. We accept Mr. Patterson's resignation. But you got to understand, within the framework of how they set up the groups and the membership, they had administrative privileges to the membership. So they could just cut you off from any group that they wanted to. So how do you really communicate to the members to tell them the truth? See what I'm saying? So once they start doing that, you got to understand, Mr. Patterson was a face of the UIC. To me, Mr. Patterson's UIC, and there's no UIC without Patterson. And to me, if it's a party, the party should be for the people. It's a not-for-profit, right? People are donating, so you should be held accountable for those funds coming in. It's not a sole proprietorship.
No.
So if you cut us out of the main groups, we're able to keep one group, then what's going to happen is we won't have the access to the people to tell them the truth. And that's what basically happened. So, and he went out there on social media spreading lies that there was a coup. There's no coup. He resigned.
Mm-hmm.
And don't he has resigned more than one time before?
At least 3 times. As a matter of fact, he just resigned again.
I'm just coming to that.
And he came back again. At least 3 times he has resigned.
Wow. Mr. Cameron, I know. Rock, you have any more questions? Go ahead.
Well, let me kind of tie up this whole conversation regarding the UIC. I was the co-founder of the UIC with Joseph Patterson, and I was very comfortable with the people that came in. And when they came in, since I didn't really want to be part of the political process, I came out. I came out, but still supported the movement. I was really happy that we had this great group of people helping Mr. Patterson with the movement. I heard about the issues on social media. I called Mr. Patterson and I said, what is going on here? Why do we have these accusations going back and forth? And he said, don't believe them. You know, they're coup. They're trying to have a coup against the leadership and whatever. And I went to the other side, which is Howard and the other people who were involved in the management of UIC, and I spoke with them, and did my own due diligence. And when I came to the conclusion that Mr. Patterson was in the wrong, I went to Joseph and I said, Joseph, it doesn't look good. What the accusations against you, which are proven, goes against the spirit in which we started this movement, and you needed to resign. He said, thank you very much, Mark. And he came off of the phone. And one day I was on Facebook, and I thought he was going to think about what I told him. One day I was on Facebook and I saw Humphrey Sullivan, who was the chairman. He said, hey, enough respect to Mark Cameron and Joseph Patterson. And I said, Joseph's name not highlighted. So I said, hold on. So I went and checked to see why his name wasn't highlighted. And he actually deleted me from Facebook. The irony of that is that when I met Joseph Patterson, I've always had 5,000 people on my page, and he only had like 150. He literally got a lot of the people following him because of me. Nobody knew who he was because of the amount of different things that I do in my life and career. I have a lot of friends on Facebook in the course of my business. Anyhow, when he realized that nothing happened after, he wasn't getting the kind of traction he wanted, he sent me a message and asked me to come back and to bring the others with me. And I sent him a note and I said, Joseph, thank you for your inspirational letter for fools. I'm not one of them. I said, we are no longer comrades in arms. I said, I wish you well in your honey business. He makes a good honey product, he and his wife. I said, but we can no longer be in this journey together. I could have joined the GLP or the PMP. Most of my friends are part of that group. And I was not going to join that dysfunction. Added to that, I'm not really into the politics thing. I just when I moved back to Jamaica, I wanted a functional country. I started a group called Jamaica Solutions Forum, where we focus on solutions. And I'm more or less solutions orientated. I'm a Garveyite. I believe in self-reliance. I believe that we have everything in Jamaica to be viable and sustainable. And I had to join the other group because what I said before was true. I said when they came on board and I saw their background and who these people were, I was so happy that my not being there, this movement will move along, and that was fine with me. But after everything went down and I spoke to them, I said, we have to do something. And we decided as a group to start Up Jamaica. And, hopefully this discussion about UIC is the end, because we have had several discussions about UIC, UIC's history. It's a tragedy of the Jamaican people because they're actually a registered political party. And I'm telling you this with utmost certainty. that if we never had these problems, we would be an easy contender for the next government. Easy contender, because Jamaicans are dissatisfied with both political parties. And it's evident in us getting signatures to be a registered political movement. JLP and PMP are signing our documents for change. So it's out there. I mean, it's the first in the history of Jamaica where you have both, both parties are looked on with a level of disdain by the Jamaican people that is never been done before. And it's because they are both a duopoly. It's a duopoly governance against the Jamaican people. And we deserve better than that. We deserve better. Are we going to leave this to the next generation? Are we going to leave this level of dysfunction to the next generation? We cannot. And this is why, you know, outside of my mom's pleas and Mark, don't get involved in politics, it's a dirty business. And, you know, politics is the way that your government is structured, my friends. So when people say, hey, I'm not into politics, I'm not going to vote, guess what? When you don't vote and you don't take responsibility for your next government, you are in politics. Sad to say, but you are. So we need to structure a system. I made a presentation 2 months ago before the Constitutional Reform Committee in the Jamaica House on behalf of Jamaica. And one of the things that we are focusing on is a true republic. No foolishness about no ceremonial president. We don't need that. All we need is a directly elected president by the people of Jamaica, not party leader become president. That's foolishness. Okay, especially when you're looking on 20% of the Jamaican people putting you in leadership. No, that doesn't make any sense. We need a directly elected president. We need a directly elected Senate and a DPP, either directly elected DPP, which in consultations with our lawyers and the group, there's a back and forth about should it be a directly elected DPP or one appointed by an elected Senate. So we're going back and forth on that. But if you have an elected Senate, then it's the will of the people. So they are accountable to the people if they appoint the wrong prosecutor that does not serve the interests of the Jamaican people. As we see now, right now we have the DPP that's extension by Mr. Holness, and we have a former headmaster of my alma mater, Jamaica College, walking around charged with fraud. And he's walking around like an elder statesman. We don't know if he's guilty or not. How much more evidence do you need? I mean, I understand due process. We all understand due process. But when you have a man stealing some ackee off a tree or 3 sheets of zinc and he goes to prison, then in a very short period of time, then surely we must get to the point where either find Ruel Reid guilty or not, and it just shows you the level of dysfunction in our justice system.
But
Mark, let me just add to the constitutional reform. We personally don't believe in.
Hold on for me, Sir McDonald. If before we go there, are you all hearing me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Before we go there, we have to tie up something here, because it doesn't make any sense. The Jamaican people is disgusted with the 2 political parties in this country. All right? And for another party to come up, and there is no accountability. Because I asked the goodly gentleman on a program with Mr. Rattigan and myself, where is he getting his funds from to fund the party? And he said, normal Jamaicans, he's not going to get it from as what I call them, the people of the effluence of society. It's the grassroots people. So if that is the case, then that means Jamaica is in serious crisis with a third political party, my words, scamming the people.
Okay, there's one thing that we need to clarify as it relates to Up Jamaica. We have never asked anyone for a dime at this point.
Thank you. Go ahead with that.
Because we don't believe that money is what drives what people want. We have not asked for a dime from anybody. We put our own money in there because I don't think that we need to beg money for people to vote. People need to see the change for themselves, have some skin in the game, and move forward for change. If you just sit there doing the same thing and expect different results, you're not going to get it. We are not here to collect any donations. If people want to donate freely, they can donate. Our website provides for it, but you have never heard anyone from Up Jamaica asking for any money because we don't believe that money should determine who serves the people, not who rules the people, because we're public servants. So when a public servant decides what they think is best for you, it's a problem. If you're a public servant, you need to serve at the whim of the people. What does the people want? We have not been asking that question, and that's where we need to go.
Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah, gentlemen, I've heard it said twice now that we have to ask the people what they want. Have you asked the people of Jamaica what they want, and have they responded?
Well,
yes, can I respond to that, Howard? Yes, we have. I have been to Tamarind Farm Prison about 4 years ago to find out how can we how can we help with prison reform? Why I want to find out with the youngsters, why did they end up in prison? And the lack of opportunities is one of the most pressing needs of the community. They believe that their voices are not being heard in terms of the justice system. They also believe that the justice system is not equal and the opportunities are not equal. And, as a former athlete myself, I've made this abundantly clear many times. When you open the entire spectrum to the Jamaican population, it gives the very best of us to shine. And if you believe in a hand up rather than a handout type of a country, then our athletes are proof of that. I've said this many times. I mean, nobody gave Shelly-Ann Fraser her position on a team or Usain Bolt because they're liked. They are liked, but that's not why they got that position. It's based on meritocracy. And Up Jamaica is an entity that believes that anyone serving in our organization has to be there based on meritocracy. Now, back to the question of Mr. Rattigan. We believe that the tourism sector needs to be overhauled. We believe that community tourism is important. Our tourism is not just sand and sea. There are many elements in Jamaica that would bring other people into our country. We strongly believe in farming. We have members on our board who have served overseas and have done very well. I mean, made millions of dollars out of farming. Deborah Boyle, who's part of our organization, can speak about that. She's had very good success in that entity. We also believe that schooling is very important, and the kind of education that the schools give our students are important. We cannot keep turning out students that are educated in areas that are not beneficial to the country. Our education has to be in sync with our country's development. Right now, there's a big need for carpenters, for electricians, and the government is having a hard time finding skilled persons to come in and to do the work. And I have to agree with them in some capacity that if you want to get the things done in a timely manner, you kind of have to forgive the importation of people coming in for a short time, because things have to keep moving. But we need to focus on trade, trades that are helpful to our country's development. And I stop turning out a whole bunch of lawyers and come on, I'm not Mr. Lawyers, but come on, guys. I mean, we need people who can be part of the production. We're not producing in Jamaica. We are importing more than we produce. And it's one of the areas there where that we have ignored in our country. They want accountability. They want to know that their taxes are being spent in a manner that serves our people and not going to waste, as we have seen. So the people want accountability. They want a government that is accountable to them and not a government that dictates to them. One of the things we have in Up Jamaica is that we go into the constituencies and they recommend candidates to us. We don't, unlike the GLP and PNP, we don't go out there and bring candidates from Norbrook and send them down to St. Elizabeth. No, that's not going to happen in our organization. We need accountability of the people who are in their own constituency, interacting with the people. I want to know that if a citizen car drops in a pothole and a bus a spring, I want the MP spring for bus too. You understand? They need to feel it. They need to feel the issues, be a part of the success or failure. They need to walk hand in hand with the people. And that is not what's happening today. So to your question, Mr. Rattigan, those are the things that they've been talking about when we canvass and we try to get their signatures to be on board. And I'm pleased to say that they're very enthusiastic about a movement that is real. None of us here are people that are trying to be in politics. I am certainly not one of them. And Howard is not one of them either. So it's really an umbrella organization that allows well-thinking Jamaican people to come on board and to follow our strict protocols for change. One of the things we focused on, and Mr. McDonald mentioned it, he's a forensic accountant. We looked on all the areas where there are loopholes to prevent these things from happening. And I want you to join us, Mr. Rattigan. I've heard you. And no, serious thing, brethren. I want you and I want Mr. Tavares and I want all well-thinking Jamaicans to come together. We are not an exclusive club, boss. We want all Jamaicans to give us all the ideas that they have. We don't know everything. I know a lot because I do a lot of different things. If you Google me, you see what I do. But I don't know everything. And governance is not something that I really want to be a part of, but we all have to play a part in the revolution of our country. I'm not talking about no armed revolution, brethren. I don't want anybody to come misquote me and get me in trouble. I'm saying to you that we have a peaceful means of transition. I spoke to Mark Golden a few weeks ago, and I asked him, I said, what are your thoughts on the Republic? I mentioned directly elected Senate, directly elected Prime Minister, DPP, and yeah, he wanted nothing to do with it. I was hoping that he would say, boy, yeah, man. And I could tell my people,
sorry, what was his response to you?
He was dismissive of that. He was dismissive of directly elected president, elected Senate, and DPP.
So
if he had said to me, Bob, hold on one second. If he had said to me that he would support those initiatives against the grain, I would have gone to my people in the group and said, guys, we need to run with the PNP. Make a run with them. Because that's an easier track than for we to go look down, run on signature and go to all them. Because it's not a work in a brethren. And we all have jobs. We all have our own lives and families and things we want to do. So we are not a group that is tribal. We believe that the Jamaican people are misinformed. We have been demoralized by the two-party system and we're busy. We're distracted. And a lot of them don't know what the responsibilities of the government. I was down in Jamaica when they had the protests. I was down at Hero Circle. If you Google my name, you'll see me down there.
I saw it.
With the coffin, you know.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was Madden's funeral or Diley or somebody. One of them bring it out there.
No. What it was, it was about highlighting the death of the police department the
We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on it. Let's not do that yet. But it seems as if you said you asked opposition leader Mark Golding about the Constitution, you know, if they want a ceremonial president and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what Mr. Golding said to on my program or Mr. Rattigan program.
Well, he told me different. He told me differently, and I stand by that.
Wilfred Rattigan.
Yeah. But no, I think Howard wanted to say something too.
Yeah. What I wanted to do is we spoke about constitutional reform, and as it relates to constitutional reform, we don't think the constitution should be reformed. We think we should scrap it and write a new constitution. It might take a while, but at least we'll get it right for the local Jamaican, the Jamaican diaspora, because otherwise we're flip-flopping between GLP and PNP. For over 70-something odd years, we are under this colonial constitution. The constitution was not created for Jamaicans. You got to understand, we had a constitutional monarchy. So it was never created for the Black people in Jamaica. We need to create something that works for us, you know? Otherwise, you know, people jump from one thing to the next. So PNP going to power, they do something wrong, then vote them out. GLP going to power, they do something wrong, then vote them out. What we suggested is like, look, we need term limits for the president. Maximum two 5-year term. That's it. The MPs who are elected by the people can be recalled if they're not functioning. We want that in the Constitution, and they should be elected by the people. The executive branch, the judiciary branch, and the legislative branch should be 3 separate entities with independent powers, equal powers, so that one can push around the other. We don't want the prime minister to be appointing people to work for him. As we spoke about meritocracy, if you can do the job, you're not supposed to get it. You know, you can't have the prime minister and then his wife is the speaker of the house. That's a conflict of interest right there. Why does Jamaica allow that to happen? It shouldn't happen. From day one, we should say, no, it should not happen. We look at the increases that the government gave to themselves, right? The PNP. And then you hear nothing from, the JLP. You hear nothing from the PNP because guess what? They voted for that increase too. And the minute people start talking about it, Mark Golding jump up. Well, you know, I want to give this to so-and-so and give this to so-and-so. I won't take the money. It's garbage. You know, these people leave government fat because they're going to be voted out. They're going to leave government fat with a fat pension. We go into government, we're rolling that back. You have teachers, you have police doctors. They're not getting any money. Why are you getting this big increase? And what they do is give the increases to the top brasses, like the head of the police force, the principals. So guess what? You're quieting the people. We look at the hotel industry. The hotel industry get paid in US dollars, a ton of money. And these investors who own the hotel take the money back, invest it outside of the country. They're growing their own economy. We should ensure that these industries have to invest a certain amount of that income they make in Jamaica, because you're benefiting from it. You know, you have Chinese here, they're moving here, and a lot of Jamaicans are trying to move out of Jamaica because of crime. Why would Indians and Chinese come into Jamaica if Jamaica was that bad? We need to put our foot down and take full control of Jamaica as it should be, because we want a Jamaica where we can live peacefully. We need to cut down on the crimes. And how do we do that? Education. The minute a student leaves high school and they're not going to college and they don't have a job, 2 years in the military, we got to take off the street. You're not going to join any gangs. We're not going to allow you to go into the gang. So we've enhanced the JDF to make sure that we improve it so that you have electricity, you have auto mechanic, you have solar technology, you have agriculture, to put these people in there. Outside of that, you should not be on the street not doing anything. We want to make you a functional part of the society, and that's a good way to do it. Is it the best way? Maybe not, but that should be in the Constitution, where if you're not working, you're not doing anything, you're not going to college, you need to go in the military. 2 year maximum. If you choose to stay in there, then you have a choice. But that's one way to tap down on the crimes in Jamaica. But first and foremost, we have to end the corruption in government, because that's where the corruption starts and the crime starts. We have a lot of criminal in politics right now, or in the government.
Mr. Rattigan?
Yeah, let me just say, Mark, when I asked the question about have you engaged the Jamaican public, I was thinking in terms of like a survey, not just Tamarind Farm and the constituency, but just a survey to get us the temperature of the people to see what their political what political direction they're headed. And the reason I asked that is because there's a recent poll that came out showing the PNP ahead, JLP closely behind, and then I think there was like a 13%. I think it's 13% of the people haven't decided who they're going to vote for yet. And then there was I think it was like 6%. Don't quote me on the numbers, but I think there was like 6% who said they're not voting for anybody. They've
Yes.
given up. So that's really what I was asking about. But and then going to the Constitution thing where you talk about his wife being the speaker and him being the prime minister. I don't think when they gave Jamaica this order, because if you look at it, it says Constitution in parentheses. It says it's an order from the monarchy to Jamaica, and basically the way my understanding of it is that it was a way for them to control run the affairs of Jamaica. It wasn't for Jamaicans. That's absolutely clear, and I agree with you that we shouldn't be tinkering with this thing that wasn't intended for us, wasn't designed, wasn't intended, wasn't implemented for us. I agree with you wholeheartedly. We should get rid of that and start with something that can actually reflect the Jamaican experience, not something from the British monarchy. I agree with you. However, and somebody mentioned in there saying, why are you talking to these gentlemen about the UIC? They're from up Jamaica, so you should be talking to them about up Jamaica. And from my perspective, the reason why I started asking about the UIC is because 2 weeks ago, we had on Dr. Coretta Brown Johnson, and she's the interim president. And one of the first things I asked her, she started out by saying, they have a manifesto and she believes in it and so on and so forth. So I said to her, well, your manifesto calls for the repeal of laws governing prostitution, drug use, and gambling. And she was taken aback and she said, well, where is that? I don't see it. And then I had to point it out to her where it clearly says and then she saw it, where it says, we're for individual rights. We don't believe the government should get involved in people's business. So then I asked her, well, what do you think about prostitution? Do you think that people shouldn't care? Or what do you think about drug use? People should just smoke crack wherever they feel like, and it's no problem. And she couldn't really defend the position. Part of it, to be fair to her, it's apparently she didn't know about those specific items, those specific provisions in there. So now I say all of that to say this to you. Are those things in your manifesto? Because I haven't read your manifesto yet, but I and that's why I started tinkering around the idea of whether or not your manifesto is the same as the UIC manifesto, whether you support it or not, or if there are differences. So can you tell us if those 3 specific provisions are in your manifesto where you support individual liberties and the right of people to do whatever they want to do when it comes to prostitution, drug use, and gambling? And by the way, it calls them victimless crimes. It says we support the repeal of laws for victimless crimes, including. So I guess there are others as well. So I'd like to get your response to that.
You want to talk about it, Mark?
No, you go ahead. You're the lawyer.
When it comes to, we don't have these items in our manifesto, just to be clear. But this is my personal view. When it comes to prostitution has been around before our time, in biblical times. Do we think it's going to stop? No. Because people are still going to do it, right? So we have never addressed it that way, but we have currently existing laws in our book that talks about prostitution, talk about drug use and gambling. Now, some drug use in the past was illegal. Now it's not legal. Like, for instance, the smoking of marijuana, right? At one time it was illegal, right? Now they make it legal. So depending on the society you're in governs how you move forward. As I said before, when it comes to Up Jamaica, we would do a referendum. People need to speak what they want. The majority is going to rule. We have not addressed this specifically. Gambling, for instance, people gamble. You know, people buy the lottery all the time. It's illegal. So I don't think gambling is really an issue in here. Drug use, hardcore drug use, should it be controlled as it relates to controlled substances? My thing is yes. But you have some drug legal. Alcohol is a drug, very addictive. It's legal. So some of these issues, we need to look at it more publicly to determine which way to go. So when I say publicly, I mean ask the public. Get input from the public in a referendum of how we do this. Because some of these items, people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but just because...
Can I add to that? I think one of the, how we feel about all of this is really about, we believe in individual rights without your behavior infringing on ours. In other words, what you do should not affect us. And that's pretty much how we feel about individual rights and responsibilities. So, but like Howard said, it is for the people to decide that it's not in our manifesto, the things that you're talking about, Mr. Rattigan. But at the end of the day, if there are things that the public need, those issues are going to be put forward in a referendum. But that is not one of the highlights of our campaign right now. We're trying to get people jobs. We're trying to allow critical thinkers to operate in an atmosphere of peace, and which gives them a chance to be innovative. Innovation is what sponsors moves the economy forward. As a matter of fact, 4 weeks ago, I made a presentation at the UWI where I spoke to some undergrads about how art transitions into economic prosperity and social consciousness. So we need to be focusing really on how to get our economy going. We have not transitioned sugarcane production. So we're looking at a country with a lot of people that came here for the sole purpose of sugarcane production that have not transitioned into anything else viable.
Do we still have sugarcane, by the way?
I beg your pardon?
Do we still have sugarcane? I thought that's everything. I thought that's everything.
Not at the level that we do. The PNP government sold out the money musk and to the Chinese, and they have not done anything with it. Right now the sugarcane fields are sitting idle, and the ones that they have in St. Catherine are now they're planting homes on those sugarcane lands. So that goes against our need for self-reliance. Here it is. You have land, flat land, that is the best for agricultural, mechanized agricultural, and you're planting homes on there. That doesn't make any sense. But somebody's profiting from it. They're using NHT money to build these homes, and if they don't sell, no big deal, because the developer already got paid. Unlike a developer as myself, I built a cut-stone apartment complex, townhouse complex in Mandeville. If it didn't sell, I lose. But the government uses NHT money to build on their lands. The developer gets paid, and most of these homes are not in areas that are easily accessible to public transportation. So a lot of them are left idle and literally a stain on the Jamaican landscape. So, these are the things that we really need to hold the government accountable for. We need more and a more inclusive government that speaks to the Jamaican people, that follows the need of their need, and not dictate what we want on them. These are things that need to change. And that's why, again, Mr. Rattigan, I'm saying to you, sir, that you and Mr. Tavares should join our movement and try to change Jamaica, because we can't take this foolishness. We cannot leave this to the next generation. There's an ad that comes out in America called by Comfort Suite. I mean, I'll big them up. But I like what they say. They say, we'll leave the light on for you. We need to leave the light on for the next generation. We're not here by chance, brethren. We are here as a miracle.
Okay.
As a miracle. Many people, there are more unborn people than those that are born. And the fact that you are alive, what is your responsibility to the next generation? Are we going to go eat, sleep, and dead like hog and goat? No. We're human beings. We know better. And we have a responsibility of being alive to make a difference in our country.
Does Jamaica need a miracle or a magician?
Brethren, I don't. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you this. Imagine in a perfect world. I'm an artist, okay? Let's think about this. We're all human beings speaking, okay? Imagine if GLP and PMP and Up Jamaica get together and have a real conversation about how to transform our country. Them can't stop us. Them can't stop we.
All right.
And you know that too. You know that too.
No, seriously, no. Let me ask you: how many candidates? The government announced that. Well, the Prime Minister said at a time to be determined next year, but people are assuming that it will be around February. They'll have the local election. How many candidates do you have slated for the local election?
We have no announced candidates slated for the next election. Why?
Okay.
We are still vetting the ones we already have.
But you will have candidates.
No, think about this carefully, right? And it will be done shortly. We are trying to start a new movement with people that are beyond reproach, okay? We cannot have people in there that are going to make us look bad. We are doing the right due diligence to ensure that those that represent Up Jamaica are ambassadors to our brand and that of Jamaica. So it's a timely process, and like you said, the dysfunction with the UIC and the starting a new movement, it really set us back.
No, forget about the UIC. When did you start Up Jamaica? When did you start the Up Jamaica movement?
Well, Up Jamaica was started March 26th. We were registered.
This year?
This year. But we have been meeting since about a year and a half. Close to 2 years since we left the UIC. We have never left each other out.
All right.
Stuck it out together.
And how many candidates are you vetting right now for the local election?
None at this point.
All right.
We are doing. Hold on there. We're doing town halls in the next couple of weeks, and we're trying to do in every constituency. And as we
the 14 parishes of Jamaica.
That's our aim.
Yes.
You know, God willing, we're trying that. But and it's more than just vetting candidates, but it's getting some consensus on what their needs are in each constituency has different needs, and we need to ensure that the people that are brought forward, we're actively seeking candidates. And one of the reasons why we're doing this program is to let people know that we're here for you. And we want you to be part of our movement. We want you to come on board, accept our protocols for change, and let's move forward. Let's move forward in a spirit of accountability, living in your own constituency. I mean, many years ago when I was with Joseph Patterson, we were supposed to have a debate at UWI. And somebody told Sister P that they shouldn't debate Mr. Patterson and Andrew. And she just canceled. No, we had no knowledge of it. She just didn't show up. And we could not even have a conversation at UWI about what we could discuss with the JLP and the UIC. And Mr. Holness promised, he promised fixed election dates. You know why he did that? Because he was greatly affected by the snap election,
But
which backfired, by the way. It
let me
backfired
say-
against
Ratty,
it backfired against them.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
one last second. I just have just like two questions there.
Go ahead.
And then, all right. So you have 0 for local election. Now, the PNP and well, forget about the JLP. They have their candidates already, but the PNP is in full swing. They're doing nationwide tour and introducing their candidates to the people. How many candidates do you have at this point, selected or being vetted for the national election, general election?
Over 20.
You have 20.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what's the appeal then to, with 0 candidates right now for the local election and with 20 plus candidates for the general election? Give us your best argument then for these candidates to say, here is a distinction between our candidates and the candidates from these other two parties. Just give us your best argument.
The best argument I would say is that you cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and getting the same results. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Makes you a madman.
We know that is, you have to be a madman, like you said, to continue doing that.
Right.
You know something? One of the reasons why I'm so upset about the demise of the UIC is that very question. Do you know how hurt it was? I was to abandon my baby. There's a gentleman by the name of Jamaican Carlos. When he was cussing Joseph Patterson, I call him man and say, yo, what you do? What you really are trying to do? And I begged him to stop. And I said, but when I was begging him to stop, I didn't realize the gravity of the situation. I didn't realize what was going on between the core group, the leadership, and Mr. Patterson. So it is one of these tragedies. It's like a perfect storm that has put a stain on the psyche of those who believed in the UIC, as I did. I told a lot of my friends about the UIC. I've spent an enormous amount of time going down to Jamaica, back and forth, having fundraisers here in Miami and around. I mean, if you look at all of my posts back in the time of the UIC, most of the things I posted about, if I use that time to put in my business and my artwork and what have you, I could buy the whole of Jamaica. I'm just saying to you, I put a lot of time into it.
All right, hold on a second. Let me ask you the question a different way. All right, Mark, you are the Prime Minister. Just for the sake of this question, you're the Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
And Howard, you're the Minister of National Security. All right. Now you just said, Mark, that and I think it was Einstein who made that famous saying that the definition of being a madman.
The same thing and expect a different result.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to crime. Since 2015, the homicide rate in 2015 was 1,208. We haven't gotten anywhere close to that since. I think you also mentioned, it's either you or Howard mentioned that crime would be a priority, if not the number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, as prospective members of the Up Jamaica movement.
Prospective MPs, man, talk the truth. Go ahead.
Yeah. What is your plan to address the crime situation in Jamaica? Since what we've seen is the same thing over and over and over, so we can, by extension, say that those people addressing crime in Jamaica they're insane. So now we're the sane ones. So now tell us how would you address this problem?
All right, let me start. When it comes to crime, it has to do with first and foremost education. I see policemen hiding behind trees to give people tickets, right? To take money from people who need it, when you have people robbing and killing all over the place. And these money they're taking in taxing people. Either you pay a ticket or you leave a money with them not to pay the ticket, right? And you have crime, I mean real crime. This is just a civil thing, you driving. Now we have criminals. Are you gonna prioritize it? Yes, I would prioritize it. I would go to every single area, hotbed, where you have this. First, we wanna secure the borders. Too much weapons are coming in. I don't know in Jamaica where they have a gun manufacturing plant in Jamaica for Jamaican people to have so many guns, right? It means the borders are porous. It's coming in either through customs, wink, wink, it comes in, government allows it, it's either coming through boat, speedboat. So we don't have the infrastructure to control that. So you want to control weapons coming in, right? We want to target the areas of hotbed. You can't just put a thing in the middle of the road, right? And say, okay, we're gonna stop, we're gonna spot check. Because we have to look at the laws too. We're gonna do spot check and we're just looking at faces. What are you really doing? When crime is happening in Montego Bay, you're in Negril, you know, stopping people. It makes no sense. We have to target the area that the crime is being perpetrated. Not only it, the crime starts from the government. And once we get in the government, we're going to clean house. We won't use the mainstream media. Right now, this is social media, because the mainstream media does not listen to what the people want. They say what the government tells them to say. You know, I'm looking behind you right now, Mr. Tavares, and I see our change, our Jamaica, our choice. What choice?
That is, and
you know,
before you continue, let me say this to you. I got the whole of this made because I sit down and I see what is going on in my country. And I said to myself, I think we have had enough of this tearing down and political parties don't mean the country any good. And I remember seeing the late John Lewis, Senator John Lewis, or Congressman John Lewis, on a political platform speaking. And he used those words. Our change, our choice. And I put our change, our choice, our Jamaica. Continue with your statement.
Right. And what I'm saying is, if we want to change crime in Jamaica, we have to ensure the laws are on the book, but we have to ensure that people who harbor criminals, like family members, get prosecuted. We have to ensure that the people in government right now, or the whatever 6 they call them, that the Integrity Commission has given to Parliament, which they'll not table, you know, have consequences for what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. We have no accountability. So we have to have some skin in the game. Mr. Tavares, Mr. Rattigan, we have to have skin in the game. As we said, we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It will not happen. Are we gonna be targeted by the international community when we start clamping down on crime? Yes, but they have crimes all over. But I can tell you this about me and Up Jamaica. The minute you see the colonial master and the West being happy with our movement, it means that we have betrayed the people. And we don't intend to betray the people.
Let me ask you this question now, though. What plans does the Up movement have, the Up Jamaica movement have, for the education system in our country?
Okay, hold on, Jeffrey. Before you start, before you have him start on education, let me. Well,
I could finish. Mr. Rattigan, I could finish. He mentioned one part of the strategy for crime. Okay, I'd like to finish that part of it. As I said to you before, I went to Tamarin Farm to speak with the young prisoners there. And I had a good conversation about why they got to that point. One of the things that we're not looking on is the family. The families are not held accountable to their children. The children are going out there and doing things. And in some cases, the very families put a blind eye to the whole thing. There's no consequences. There's no serious consequences for the serious crimes that we have in our country. A person can murder somebody and then go to prison, and it's almost like a holiday. You know, so people need to understand that if you commit murder and you commit serious crimes, you're going to be punished. We also have to look on you know, some of our members have been talking about even bringing back the death penalty, because there's some people who are just not redeemable, but that cannot be done in a system where the justice system is not fair. It has to be overall to ensure that people are given a fair and speedy trial. We cannot have people committing these crimes with a level of impunity and not be concerned about the consequence of what they're doing. Howard mentioned the borders, right? I mean, unfortunately, the borders, I mean, the entrance to Jamaica right now, our ports are foreign owned. I mean, how do you have a country where the port is owned by a foreign entity? And you know how corruption is. Them can pay off somebody at the wharf and bring what they want to bring in. You know, these are things that have to be carefully monitored by the JDF and the police. There should be undercover agents involved in that whole process. We cannot, you know, your mouth is what allows you to be poisoned or whatever. Anything that comes into your country is the most important area that you need to focus on. We need to focus on the maritime area, the people, the maritime police. They can go out and intercept these persons bringing in guns for drugs and all that kind of thing. And it has to be a more comprehensive approach for change. We have to have education addressed as well. Education on being a proper citizen. What kind of citizen you are and what is expected of you as a Jamaican citizen. We're not having those kind of conversations because they took out civics out of our school. So it's a comprehensive approach. It's not a one thing is not going to fix it. There's a whole bunch of elements that have to come together. Yes. And that's a question. That's a question that Mr. Rattigan, being an FBI officer, and you and others professionals, we need to have these discussions. You're not out there. I'm not sure if you're talking to the government or not, Mr. Rattigan. But I'm saying to you,
they don't talk to us.
This is not.
Hold on for me. The political parties in Jamaica will not talk to a Jeffrey Tavares and a Wilfred Rattigan.
Well, guess what? Guess what? We have an open house. We have an open door policy to ideas. You can be part of our core group, part of our leadership.
Mark,
we don't.
Mark, hold on a second. The question was, because we are, you see us as potential members of the Up Jamaica movement, and I'm saying make an argument, not just Jeffrey and myself, but the listening and viewing audience, right? Just make a plea to us. And here's what you said for the strategy, your strategy for crime reduction and prevention: secure the border, target area where crime is occurring, look at politicians, bring in the family, speedy trial, education. Right? I didn't hear the solutions. Those are actually the problems. I was hoping that you'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do with the borders. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. And it has to be different from what's being done, because otherwise, if you tell me that you're going to do the same thing that the government is doing, then with all due respect, you would be as insane as the government, because they said this is what we're doing and it's failing. So that's why I'm asking you, what is your plan then to deal with this? All these things that you just mentioned, they mentioned them. In fact, I don't know if you're aware of something called a national security plan, because that is what they've come up with over the years. It's a huge document, and from that document, they have a cascade, and it's called the Plan Secure Jamaica. Now, this Plan Secure Jamaica is what they call their national security plan. They have a document called National Security Plan, but their national security plan is Plan Secure Jamaica, and it includes a crime plan. But they're saying that we don't just focus on crime, we're focused on the comprehensive security apparatus. That's what we're focused on. We're focused on not just, somebody shooting somebody, but, the border control as well. And other things, customs, all of these people, passport control, everything. So what I'm asking you for is, tell me what you've identified some of the problems contributing to crime.
Okay.
And I'm saying, how do you address them then?
Could I address that?
Okay. Well, Howard, if I may, just for a quick second. The first thing we talked to you about, Mr. Rattigan, was a government based on meritocracy. I'm not a crime fighter. Neither is Howard McDonald. You are. You are in that process.
Yeah, but I'm not a member of Jamaica, though.
No, but Virgin, what I'm saying to nobody, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that government puts policies in place to attract the right people based on their qualifications. All we can do as lawmakers.
Oh, hold on, Mark. Let me stop you right there. I have to say this. Stick up. Hold on, point. When they say government put people based on their qualifications, I think you want to say government should, because you know why? In this government, we have a doctor who is Minister of National Security. We have and he should be over by Minister of Health. Then we have a marketing guy who should be in tourism, and he's in charge of health. Then we have a finance expert who's in charge of education, right? Then we have a doctor of philosophy for mathematics who should be in charge of statin, and he's in charge of finance. And the beat goes on and on and on. So that's what I'm saying. Government should, but they don't.
Yeah, well, I would not. Well, I'm very dismissive of what they're doing. When I say government should, we're talking about us. We're talking about Jamaica.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
So we know their dysfunction. I can only talk about what we will do. No. So moving along with that, I'm saying to you that we believe in a government based on meritocracy. We believe that the best people, for instance, our president will not have members that are MPs. Our president will have the opportunity to vet different people in the diaspora, and locally and in the diaspora, that are qualified for the jobs that we are offering. So, and they have to be validated by the elected Senate. You're not going to appoint somebody and then rubber stamp them in. No, we have to start with meritocracy. People in positions based on their qualifications, sir. So, although you asked a question about crime and we answered in a broad manner, the specifics of dealing with crime will have to come from the experts. And we will not interfere with the experts' recommendations because a certain person is in a garrison. We are not part of the garrison. We don't know people in the garrisons. So we're not going to take up for people that are convicted or caught by the police. We are going to leave law enforcement to persons who are involved in law enforcement. So we're not going to make this grand explanation about, we're going to do this and specifics. However, the broad areas in which we addressed, if you move into them, there are many elements that are going to be part of the change, which have to be addressed by the experts that can only be part of Jamaica's future and solution.
I think we have to look at.
While you're trying to attract, the issue is while you're trying to attract people to the party, they're going to ask you about specifics. They're not gonna. I don't think they will be sufficiently satisfied with the answer that, well, look, we're not the experts, but we're trying to attract the experts. And when we get,
I'm going to give you some specifics.
Mark, hold on. Let me say something. Let me say something. As it relates to crime, and I mentioned it earlier on, we can't cut crime right away. It takes time. It might take 2, 3 to 5 years. What I'm saying is the first place I'm going to target is the Constitution to ensure that the JDF implements a bigger scope to take in any young man or young woman who they finish high school, they don't have a job, and they're not going to college. You got to go into the military and learn a trade, because we're taking you from the garrison. We don't want you to go into a gang with the garrison. And that's one way to cut crimes. And you're in the military now. Guess what? You're going to help us in the military to reduce the crime by those who are still out there getting older committing the crime. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it, we talk about border security. We don't have enough boats out there. You know, we could get drones, we could do different things to watch. You know, we need to ensure that we have the capacity. Instead of us making all this money in government paying ourselves, buy 4 or 5 more speedboat to support the border, right? Because you're only giving yourself money from the people. You know, the government are the ones that needs to get minimum wage, to tell the truth. Let them start there, and if they're progressing good, you give them an increase. Since they want the Jamaican people to get minimum, they dictate what minimum wage is. Why aren't they taking minimum wage? Why is there, you know, water in Garden House? And if I go St. Elizabeth in that era, there's no water. If you go to Moko in Clarendon, there's no water, no pipe. Why are they able to utilize these things and the regular Jamaica can't utilize it?
Let me ask a question here. You all hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead.
If Jamaica should gain state power tomorrow morning, the election should call and you all gain state power, you see? Would you accept, or would you go into the Jamaican diaspora, whether it's within the United States, Canada, England, or Europe, wherever? Would you get somebody from there who has security know-how to become the Commissioner of Police, or let's say the Minister of National Security?
As a matter of fact, we would like for the diaspora members to be able to vote for the president of Jamaica. Probably not vote for MP since they don't live in a constituency, but they should be able to vote by ballot in the area they're at for the president of Jamaica. So if they're going to participate on that level, and I sure you know that most diaspora members are the ones who fund Jamaica with their family. They send money all the time, so they have the qualifications to do it, and they're coming to Jamaica. As long as you're a Jamaican citizen, now I think we should be able to come on in and do it, because we're the ones that went out there and we see what changes. You know, local Jamaicans are getting spoon-fed by the mainstream media a bag of nothing. You know, their scope and their consciousness, I talk about the ancestor, their scope and their consciousness is limited to what they're feeding them. And they're not feeding them the right thing. So when somebody tells me that, right in my neighborhood here, they say, you know what, me a born GLP and me a born labor right. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me? You have been going through this stress for over 78, 79 years? And you keep flip-flopping between two parties. You're not getting any different result. Is this what you want for your kids? You can't keep doing the same thing and get different results. It will not happen. So people in the diaspora, like Mark, myself, we're the ones yearning for change. I come back to Jamaica. We're not going to get it back like when we were kids running up and down and we were poor, but we were happy. Right? But we want to get to a place where Jamaican can stop worrying about, you know, Andrew Holness, a boy, you can sleep with your door open. That's a lie.
But gentlemen, let me ask you this question. You have the Make We Talk program hosted by me. You have Wilfred Rattigan hosted by Wilfred Rattigan. You have other programs being launched from all of them. And we have been telling the people what is going on. We have been showing them what is going on, and so forth. Have you ever stopped to ask the question? I'm not being negative now or naive. Does the Jamaican people really want the change that we all see that Jamaica needs?
I could answer that question. Like I said to you before, they see the GLP and the PMP as the same. So that's why you have this level of frustration where people don't even vote anymore. 60, I think it's almost 69% of Jamaicans do not vote. So what we're offering is something that's different. Now, to get back to the specifics on the crime issue. we believe that the justice system, we are going to overhaul the justice system where there are speedy trials and persons who are convicted, whether it be an MP or a regular person, they go to jail. There must be, the people need to understand that there are consequences for their actions. We talked about, Howard spoke about the police officers stopping persons to give them a ticket and what have you. Do you understand the level of the amount of people that die because of reckless driving, because of corruption, people getting licenses that they bought? Anyone that does that type of behavior will be punished. They are acting, they're a part of that person's demise. If a person dies because of an accident by a person who got a license without the proper vetting, that's you're an accessory. So we have to hold people accountable, and we hold them accountable in the justice system. The justice system must be overall. Go ahead.
I do apologize. We have a call in line. Caller, go ahead. Are you hearing him? Are you hearing him? Mr. Rattigan, are you hearing the caller? I don't know what's going on about not hearing me. Hold on for me. Are you all hearing the caller? Mr. Rattigan, are you all hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but not the caller.
Okay, hold on for me. Caller? Caller?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Are you hearing him now?
Yes. Yeah, gentlemen. Yes, Mr. Cameron.
Yes, sir.
Hold on for me, caller. Hold on for me. Hold on. Hold on for me, please. Go ahead now.
Hello. Good evening again.
I guess what he's asking, what the caller, I don't know what's going on here. What the caller is asking, you see, is where the funds come from to fund this political party.
Where did what?
Where the fund is going to come from to fund the political party.
Where the money come from?
Where the money is going to come from.
Well, the money so far came from our members, members of the core group of the Up Jamaica movement. Now, we have a website with an area there for people to donate if they'd like. It's not something that we've been actively pushing. We believe that our message is what's important, and any monies that we get is really about getting the message out. We're not looking for any stipend for ourselves or whatever. We are really focused on getting. We believe once the Jamaican people understand that we're on their side, they will help us. We're not going to buy people out. We're not buying people out to vote for us. They need to understand that we are in this together. And if they accept,
Hold on for me, Dr. Francis. Hold on for me, Dr. Francis.
if they accept what we're trying to do, then it's a win-win for both of us. If not, then all we can say is that we did what we could while we could. And let the chips fall where they may. I mean, it'd be unfortunate because we're not here because we love politics and we want to be in politics. We're here because of a recognition that our country is not working and it's getting from bad to worse. So if people are happy, this is a democracy, okay? And if people make the decision to continue with what they're doing, then there's nothing we can do about it. But I want to know, from my perspective, that while I could, I tried to make a difference. And the people in our group feel the same way. I won't have the burden of regret. A lot of people like to talk and to criticize what you're doing, and you say, sure, do this, but they're not a part of the solution. They're not coming on and saying, Mr. Cameron, why don't you try this or try that? No, they rather stay on the side and yap like a little mongrel dog on the side.
I wrote in the chat that I admire your guys, what you're trying to do. But all I'm asking you is a simple question. And you need it takes money to make the mayor gallop.
Well, sir, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and we have provisions for people to donate to our movement. We are not against support. Let me be clear on this. We're not against support. That's not our focus, though. No. Our focus is not money. Our focus is trying to educate the Jamaican people. We're not exactly paupers. We're spending our money, and we would like the Jamaican people to be a part of it. But that's not our focus.
Mark, what I'm trying to say to you, a little while ago, you came at me as if I'm trying to be realist. I'm not trying to be. I'm just
no. I'm just passionate about. No. You read me wrong. I'm just very passionate about how I speak, because this has been a burning thing for me for a long time. Yeah. Absolutely not. I was not coming at you at all.
I've also had the privilege of you and I talking for quite some time, and I simply want the Jamaican people to understand, because I'm here listening. And I am saying to you, you have a position. Your colleague has a position, and what I'm hearing is that you need some degree of a guideline, a memorandum, of sorts to present to the public as the way you must go. You have ideas, yes, of course, and I admire them. But I'm saying to you that people are asking, I'm reading the questions there, and I'd like to see answers that are more specific and has more a better explanation, in my opinion, as to how you're going to move forward. And I'm happy for you to move forward. Anybody wants to see progress. Both us and the diaspora. Somebody you just said that the diaspora is very integral to the movement and what have you. And all of the world's diasporas have always been integral to such movements. And not only about a new party or what have you, but the country as a whole. We love the country. But we want to find out specifically if there's a written agenda, memorandum, articles of whatever you want to call it, going forward, so that we have a specific. So you see, UIC, for example, I know you mentioned that, and I'm not going to knock you with that. But if you don't have the type of people with you that are willing to, do what you are willing to do, right? A lot of them and so on in Jamaica. Then Jamaicans are not going to, how it stay there already. They really die hard. So to break that system, you have to have a better system, and they have to believe it. And you have to literally be a messiah to do it. So that's all.
I went to the ITEL Fest. I went to the ITEL Fest this weekend, and I spoke to a few people about what we're trying to do, and most of them, unfortunately, never voted. And when I told them that we are holding government accountable, and we're inclusive, their whole attitude changed. A lot of them said, "Man, we can't wait to vote for you guys. Just get yourself together, and we're behind you." So there's a burning need for change. We have a website with our manifesto, and we need help. We need help from the diaspora, from Jamaicans. That are in Jamaica. We're not the Messiah, okay? But we have put protocols that have been very well vetted, that allows the best of our Jamaicans to serve in our government, and that is all we ask. We are looking for Jamaicans who love Jamaica, not those that just wear Jamaica T-shirt at every event or whatever, but those who really care about the people. Yeah. Jamaica is not about the landscape alone, the beautiful rivers and the sea.
Mark, let me just address the question real quick.
We have the next caller line. Go ahead, caller.
I don't know if you're hearing me.
Are they?
Yeah, they're here. Go ahead.
Mr. Cameron,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
in the interest of solving the Jamaican situation, which is extremely urgent,
Mm-hmm.
and in light of the fact that the OJLDF has gone ahead leaps and bounds in terms of exposing and holding this government, and successive, if so, accountable, wouldn't you see it a better option to endorse and support the OJLDF instead of splintering your efforts, but rather just going behind a single spearhead that has made some headway in the interest of the country? What is your take on that?
Well, I believe that all politicians and anybody that serve the government, serve the people of Jamaica should be held accountable. Mr. Tavares mentioned a couple of days ago we talked about tabling the Integrity Commission in Parliament. We believe that if we have an entity that is responsible for for accountability and transparency, they must be given free range to do their work. We cannot as legislators and people in government interfere with the work of the people that are put in place to ensure good governance. So, I mean, we need, like I said to you before, we need a comprehensive approach to change in our country. It's not just one area. It's in terms of our own education, how we educate our children. So
Mr. Cameron,
go ahead.
Mr. Cameron,
Yes.
with all due respect, I'm still not hearing you answer the question. The question I'm asking, do you not think it a better option instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, to go behind Rattigan, OJLDF, and offer your support and endorsement in order to be effective in the interest of Jamaican situation?
Well, I said to you early on, sir, that we are not experts.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, I would support Mr. Rattigan's efforts. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a personal, that's my personal opinion.
I will suggest this to you. Let that become obvious in the public, and you will see the type of effect it will have on the whole issue. Try that.
Well, I've always...
This is not about personal gains now and aggrandizement and who is up there, and no crab in the barrel, see? Just go behind the one that is winning. That's my point. You can finish.
Yeah, but I've kind of said that clear to you early on. I said to you that I've been watching Mr. Rattigan for quite a while. We've actually spoken a few months ago on another matter about the Constitution. He's an expert in those areas. Why would I not support somebody who has who has made efforts? He's come out. I mean, very few FBI agents come out as he has. I have a brother-in-law who's the head of the organized crime division here in Miami, and very, very secretive about things, and they're not out there like that. So I applaud Mr. Rattigan for coming out and trying to make a difference, which is why I would not have just loosely said what I said. I said, hey, I'd like Mr. Rattigan to join us. No.
You're deflecting and twisting my question. I am saying Rattigan can't join you. You are the one that is in a position that is yet to be proven to the public. Forget about trying to draw alongside OJLDF. I am saying, in the interest of Jamaica, no selfish partisan, whether PNP, GLP, or of Jamaica, no selfish partisan interest. Get behind that which you agree with in the interest of Jamaica right now?
No, let me just address the caller real quick, because probably, and we have not made this public, but you need to know that Up Jamaica, NDM, the Marcus Garvey movement, and what's the other movement, Mark?
National Patriotic.
National Patriotic Movement. We have been meeting because we have seen that in Jamaica, there's a lot of splintered groups that have the same things in mind for change for Jamaica. And we have been reaching out to other groups to have an alliance to ensure that we come together instead of it's going to be Up Jamaica or, JLPF or NDM. It's not working. There's never been a successful individual party that comes up outside of the two main colonial parties that has made changes. We have no issue with combining our efforts. However, we have core issues that we deal with. And if the issues that we have as it relates to other parties, we look at it, and whatever is core, we go with it. We also have a core group or executive group. Let me just finish.
The answer is no.
We even have a core group within the Up Jamaica.
You're explaining yourself too long and not making the point. So I think the answer that you prefer to see if Up Jamaica can go ahead and get ahead.
Hold on.
I never said that. You're answering.
Hold on for me, please. Hold on for me, please. We have a next call coming in. My good friend, can you hang up and get this call, please?
I hang up, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Answer the question for me now, please. Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Answer the question, please.
Yeah, I was saying we also have a core group within Up Jamaica. So for the caller to ask us to make a decision on here, it's kind of premature because we don't work individually as leaders like that. We go to the core group and we make decisions. So we could not answer that question effectively or truthfully without actually going back to our core group. And that's how we work. We don't work like that, we're going out of sync and just saying stuff because, you're put on the spot. We have protocols that we use, and that's what we would do, go to our core group and decide, okay, look at this idea. Is this idea good? And then we decide like that. We don't just go out there and just make willy-nilly answers and say, yes, we're going to do that. No, because that would not be a correct way to answer the question. We have protocols that we follow to make sure that, okay, it's a good idea. Let's look at it. And that's how we move forward. Outside of that, we're just spitting in the wind.
Sorry, good night. We have a next caller. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the Make a Talk program.
Yes, good night. Thank you for having me. And good night to Mr. Rattigan and the panel. I'm sitting here and listening to the conversation as a 53-year-old person, born and grown in Jamaica. I would advise Mr. Cameron, if you really, really want to help us with a generation, why did that in a giant Mark Golding? The third party thing, Mark Golding, if you have a heart, and you really have go feed.
Well, guess what? I'm going to answer your question.
Mr. Golding, join the Mr. Rattigan, something contribute and put together, make you all have work towards if you have better Jamaica. When you come and do one next party and I say this, that I'm confusion right now. Me live in Jamaica. Me work minimum wages. So me tell you what happen.
Well, can I?
Okay, caller. Let Mr. Cameron answer the question you asked, please.
Caller, first of all, I appreciate your candor and your willingness to think outside of the box. I did speak to Mr. Golding a few weeks ago, and we looked on change for Jamaica that requires a few things, okay? We do not believe in delegates selecting candidates. We don't believe in that. We believe that every candidate, MP candidate, should be voted in by the people, and not some people in a smoke-filled room deciding against, in some cases, a lot of cases, which candidate should serve your constituency. We are a solution, we are a solution-oriented organization. We are not going to continue something. No, but I'm not finished, madam. I'm not finished, madam. I spoke to Mr. Golden about a directly elected president. One of the reasons why we asked for a directly elected president is because we want all of Jamaica to make a decision that fixed all Jamaica, and not a party leader who represents mostly party interests. We believe that the Senate must be elected by the people. You know, you talk about comrade, let me tell you something. I come from that background, right? And I listen to a lot of what Michael Mann said, and I agree with a lot of his philosophy and Marcus Garvey. Government must work hand in hand with the people. And you can't tell me, madam, that that's what's going on today. If Mark Golding adopts our policies for change, we're not in a little arms house thing with nobody, right? They have to, if they adopt our policies for change, speaking from my perspective, and I said it before, I would gladly bring that to the core group and say, listen, time depend we know, make us run that brother there. But you know something, unless him can come with something new, unless he can have a program that is gonna uplift our people, uplift the people from the ghetto and the people in the farming communities and help them to get their product to market and have some level of empathy for the Jamaican people. We can't join that, sweetheart. We can't do that. He has to adopt all policies that are going to make Jamaica a different Jamaica. We can't go upon the same thing over and over again. I spoke to him and I said, hey, we want a directly elected president. We want elected Senate. We want elected DPP. Why want elected DPP? Because if you have elected DPP, anybody in the government who do wrongs have to go out of prison. Because they are accountable to the people and not the political party. So unless Mark Gordon decide to do that, I don't see us joining that movement. That I don't see. Me not, I can't, speaking for myself, like Howard rightfully said, it has to be brought to the council who make the decision. I don't see that happening.
Yes, we have a next caller online. Caller, welcome to the Make We Talk program. Go ahead.
Hello, sir. Yes, the two gentlemen. Yes, sir. I would like to ask you, sir, where do you live? In Jamaica?
I live in Jamaica.
Both of you?
I'm actually in Jamaica right now in Trelawney. Yes.
I'm up here. Listen, I'm in America right now for an art. I'm an artist. I'm here for an art show. I go back to Jamaica. I live in Jamaica. I live in Mandeville.
Okay.
And I've invested in Mandeville. I've invested in Mandeville. We built some townhouses. If you Google Cutstone Experiment Mark Cameron, you'll see me stand in front of the houses that me take my money and my uncle and build out of Rockstone, because I believe in self-reliance. I believe that if me build a house, me have to use Rockstone or me find a Jamaican rather than, and they did the story because of my self-reliance and my Garveyite attitude, because I believe in sustaining ourselves. I went before Parliament.
I would like to ask you another question, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have two major parties in the country, TNP and JLP. Because I've been here for some time now and I haven't seen a third party have him come up, very strong. And there was a party first by name UPP. Is that party you get the name from?
Not at all. Not at all.
It was headed by Miss Antoinette Harton.
No, we didn't get her name from that. Our name came from ideas from the entire group, and we decided which name best represents us. It's actually called Up Jamaica. We are registered as Up Jamaica Movement of the People. That's how we're registered.
Oh.
Now, in talking about us being in Jamaica, I went before Parliament, and you may not even know this because this was done without fanfare. There was a big dust problem in Mandeville, and I called up Mutty Perkins. I went on beyond the headlines and ended up on Al Jazeera, and went before Parliament to force the bauxite companies to put sprinklers on our mud lake because that was affecting all the people in my gully. I was one of the organizers who did the march for the cockpit country. I designed the logo. I marched with Queen Africa.
Hello, sir.
And go ahead.
That is a long time now. So why didn't you people join one of the major political party and try and make it change from there?
That has been
all over the place.
Well, you know something, sir. You know something. I've been.
If you guys get into power, you will be still working with the same system. So why not try one of the bigger parties or both of them, and then try to make the change there instead of just going around? Which I'm telling you, as a Jamaican right now, I don't see European and next third party right now. Me I tell you the natural truth. And I say me wouldn't want it, but you're not going to come to power at like the next election. You have to work and show the people, make the people say good things, you know. Where them
Well,
can
sir, Carter, I just told you what we've been doing. We've been fighting on the behalf of Jamaica even before we became a political movement. I just told you I went before Parliament and forced the bauxite companies to put sprinklers on the mud lake to help the people that were suffering. That was never been done before. Never been done before in the history of Jamaica.
I would just like to say to the gentleman that just called, we have had.
Hold on for me, Johnny people. Hold on for me. Caller, can you just hang up for me and listen to what they're saying to you, please? Because there's a call coming in. No, hold on. No, call. We have some more things that we need to take care of. So, you know, you can call back if you want to. All right? We have our next call coming in. This is the final call for the night.
Yeah, what I was trying to say.
Good night, make we talk. Good night, make we talk. Yes, sir, go ahead. Hello,
Okay.
Good night. Hello, good night. Okay, you don't want to talk. Go ahead for me. I think what the people are saying, Mr. Cameron and Mr. McDonald, is that we have so many third party coming in the country. And I don't know if Wilfred Rattigan will agree with me. And the only one I see went somewhere, a little way, was the National Democratic Movement. But apart from that, no other third party have gained any support. So I think what the Up Jamaica movement need to do is to literally go around to Jamaicans, sit down with them in the nooks and crannies of Jamaica and talk to them about the Up Jamaica movement.
Mr. Tavares, I was very clear that we are doing town hall meetings in every constituency. That is our intention. We have been doing this before. One of the reasons why we end up in Parliament on behalf of the Jamaican people was because we listened to what the people wanted. We looked on what has affected our growth as a country. These are discussions. We did not come up and said, hey, we want to be the next government just for the sake of being the next government. We looked on what were the things that were debilitating to our country. That's the first thing we worked on. We worked on the solutions. And once we got the solutions out of the way by dialogue with our fellow Jamaicans, we believed and we put together a manifesto that you can look on our website that clearly outlines what steps we'd like to take. Now, to the lady's question about us not joining the political fray, the political GLP, PNP, we have engaged with them. And if they're not about solutions, there's no point in being a part of that because we'll be outnumbered. You have to understand that they are entrenched in how they conduct their business. They're entrenched. And we have not seen any changes since independence. So what makes you think, or anybody think, that one or two people coming into their party, it's their party, that they're going to adopt your views when the evidence for changes has been there all along, and they've made no effort to make any change. Mm-hmm. So why would you castigate us for not joining a political entity that has not benefited the Jamaican people in the last 70 odd years. Why? Why would we do that? And it's not for lack of trying. I know most of these MPs personally, and I've spoken to them about what we'd like to do, and they've been dismissive about it.
Yes.
So why would we do that?
Let me Wilfred Rattigan.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask both gentlemen about what the Up Jamaica movement is doing right now as we speak, this moment, to hold government accountable.
We can only be advocates. I have been on the march down in Hero Circle when they gave themselves this enormous raise. If you go on the Gleaner website, you'll see us down there protesting. But we've been protesting for a very long time, you know. We have marched. We've marched for the cockpit so they don't mine in the cockpit, and nothing has changed. So we realize that the only change can be had if we have the ability to make the change. There's so many websites out there. There's so many people talking about the government, how bad the government is. I mean, Mr. Rattigan, you are one. You talk about the problems we're having, and we will be forever talking until we can put boots on the ground and have the reins of
But
people.
Hold on, Mr. Rattigan. Hold on a minute. Remember, I'm going to say, please, because I totally forget this a while ago. Let me ask this question of both gentlemen. Then I'll have a turn to come back in. If you were in power, say against state power, and the Integrity Commission report to be tabled in the Parliament, would they elicit 6 parliamentarians that is on the investigation? What would be your instruction to the Speaker, or would you come out and call the 6 parliamentarian names?
Let me address that. When we started the program, we spoke about integrity, accountability, and transparency. Right? The Integrity Commission had a report. If they had a report, personally, I would ensure that the Speaker tabled that report to Parliament. 100%. What are we hiding? Who are they accountable to? To Parliament or to the people? Hold all the 6 accountable and bring it to the floor.
Hold on for me, miss. Hold on for me. Hold on for me, ma'am. Hold on for me, ma'am. We have a next call in line from Mr. Cameron. Go ahead, ma'am.
Go ahead now.
Yes, caller. Stop listening to your phone. Stop listening to your radio and the TV, please.
Right. Yes. All right. For Mr. Cameron, good night again.
Good night.
For us, I learned from Mr. Rattigan, Herb, Tavares. I learned from them, Wayne Lonesome, women who learn at school. For you to go and change the constitution, you have to end the shows and table it, go to the people and say, right, we reach this point and we see we are good at the point there, and you and the people then work out it. But if you say no in my opposition and you go vote for president, that can't work, sir. Right now, Jamaica is on the brink. We are on the brink with those capsize. So if we have a heart and we're willing, with who have them vice, who have them capital, and we want to go work.
I can't hear what she's saying. Can you hear me?
She was breaking up.
Yeah, madam, your phone is breaking up. Okay. Yes, call. Yes, go ahead. General people, go ahead. Okay, what's going on here? I think my thing is...
Okay, while we start that all, let me say this to you. We believe that the Jamaican people should decide their future. We as Jamaicans must decide our future. And we believe in true democracy. We believe in a true republic. A true republic gives all Jamaicans an opportunity to vote a president of their choice. In many cases, we have people who may like the prime minister, but may not like the candidates for MPs. And the majority of the MPs that win are the ones who that allows that entity to become government. So we need to allow the president to select his or her what do you call it?
Executive body. So.
Executive body.
Yes.
Based on meritocracy, and have the MPs stay in their constituency and serve their people. We also believe that they should live in the constituency. We do not believe that an MP should live in Norbrook and be representing somebody in Westmoreland. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Which shows you, madam, that these people represent party interest and not the people. We don't believe in delegates selecting MPs. We believe in an open vote. If 4 people from a constituency want to serve your community, there should be a vote by the people. We believe in walking hand in hand with the people. The people are the ones that we represent, and anything that gives full representation of the people, that's
Yes.
where we are. That's where we are.
Yes.
And no one on this program can say today, that what we have has been working. It is not working.
Yes.
It is not working.
Yes, gentlemen, we don't have enough time to leave on this program. We're going to have Mr. Rattigan come in with these questions that he has. Go ahead, Mr. Rattigan.
Yeah, thank you. Nordi made a comment in the chat room, and she's absolutely correct. I could care less about party and color. I care about people and policies, and I've said that many times, and that's something that I steadfastly believe. Now, gentlemen, tell me if this is correct. You have a manifesto called the Rise Up Jamaica Manifesto, or is it that's not it?
No, that's not it. The manifesto is actually on upjanow.com on the web page, which is still being built, but the manifesto is posted on the web page.
So your manifesto doesn't start out by saying throughout our history we have learned that one individual. That's not it.
No, I don't think so.
You're sure?
Okay, so if you look
No,
at the manifesto,
it's your manifesto. So I'm asking because I'm looking at the manifesto right now. So I'm just asking if it's sure. And it says Rise Up Jamaica Manifesto. So I just want to make sure it is
Rise Up Jamaica Manifesto.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we have Rise Up Jamaica Manifesto.
Okay. And it doesn't start throughout our history. We have learned that one individual can and does make a difference.
No, I don't think
okay,
so.
Good. No. All right. Now, here's a question I have. Mark mentioned that he marched in Hero Circle. He protested. He's done all of these things. Mark is acutely aware that those things are called 9-day wonders in Jamaica, where they get the headlines and 2 weeks later, people forget. Not because it's insignificant, but because it's overtaken by other events. That's one of the reasons. And so we have to keep forcing the issues, right? Now, when I ask, what are you doing to hold government accountable right now? I mean, if you had to go out there and tell people that, yeah, we're holding government accountable. I marched last year and I did this and I did that. They won't remember that. No, Carla said that, why don't you support a program like the one to make a legal defense fund or legal defense foundation? And I'll tell you why you should. And you said you committed to that. You said, yes, we you would. Here's why. We agree with you that government is corrupt. We agree with you that the Constitution should be changed completely. But where we disagree is how we go about doing it. Because we don't believe in first of all, we're not aligned to a political party, and we don't believe in 9-day wonders. So, for example, there's 3 ways we go after the government. 3 ways. won lawsuits. And in fact, if the speaker is listening, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, if she's listening,
She's listening, of course.
all right, she should just make arrangements to receive some legal papers either this week or next week, because we're planning to sue. All right. So and for those of you who believe that there's some of you who believe that the Minister Kamina Johnson Smith case is over because a judge made a decision, and it was a terrible. Well, the judge made a decision saying that you don't have standing if you live overseas. Basically, you don't have standing if you're not directly and materially affected by what a politician does in Jamaica. You're not. We firmly believe that that will be overruled on appeal, and if it's not overruled on appeal, then we can always go to the Privy Council. So we have that appeal that's pending right now. We have about 3 or 4 lawsuits in the pipeline, and I can tell you it's getting the attention of these people. The second thing is public relations campaign. For example, the access to beaches. Jamaicans, on a whole, they don't have access to all the beaches in Jamaica. For example, you can't walk onto the beach of Sandals. You cannot. And we think that's unfair, unjust, unreasonable, on everything. On Jamaicans, everything. So we're collecting funds to make a move in that area. You see, they just came out with a thing out of DC, this publication saying Jamaica is the safest place, or it's one of the safest places
for tourists.
For tourists, yeah, because they fly them in and they bus them straight to the resorts, and they and even when they take tours, they're guided tours, right? So they bus them to Dunville Falls and then back to the resort, back to the thing. And but Jamaica in and of itself is a very violent place, and that the homicide rates, they speak to that issue. Yeah. So we want to do a public relations campaign to let these tourism centers, these people coming to Jamaica, to let them know that you can go to Jamaica, but we would rather you don't go to Jamaica at this point in time until the beaches are accessible to everyone, not just you, but people whose mothers and fathers and ancestors died so that you could come and enjoy it. They should have the right to enjoy it as well. And the third thing that we're doing is we're doing back, as we speak right now, background investigations are being done on 2 politicians I'm aware of. And they're being done in and outside of Jamaica. And they're being done at a distance from the Integrity Commission, because we don't know what they're doing, but what we do believe is that they're not as capable as us. Capable, not in the sense that they can't think as us, but they don't have the resources. There are things that we can do overseas here. There are things that we have access to that they don't have access to. And for the most part, they're looking at the statutory declarations in terms of what's going on in Jamaica. We have the ability to look beyond the shores of Jamaica. So those are the 3 things that we're doing, because we think that will get their attention. We're not saying that you shouldn't march. We're not saying that you shouldn't protest. All we're saying is that when you do that, they sit back and they laugh. Look at what happened when they protested the increase for parliamentarians. They had protests for a week or so, and the crowd was, you could count the people there because people weren't coming out. Some people said too hot, some people said and the government just sit back and they just laugh, because they said this is just another 9-day wonder. This will just pass. This too shall pass like the other 9-day wonders. But when you file a lawsuit, and by the way, there's a certain minister that a lawsuit will be filed against her in the United States. In the United States. And that's how you get their attention. And not only that, what we also plan to do with the public relations campaign is we have some links here in Washington, and we are going to go to the State Department and talk to them about cutting funds to Jamaica. We're also going to go to the Congressional Black Caucus in the Congress and say, listen, your taxpayers' dollars, and if you want to get taxpayers riled up, if you want to get congressmen and women riled up in America, just tell them that taxpayers' monies are being spent overseas, and corruption is involved, and the money is going into people's pockets and coming back to buy mansions and homes and mansions, boats and all that in Miami. And you see what kind of traction you get. Those are the things that we're about. So we're not, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a third party. By all means, go ahead and have a third party. All I'm saying to you is that just make sure that you have something meaningful that you can tell the people that they can sink their teeth into. Because when you say to them, yeah, crime should go down, yes, health services should go up, yes, infrastructure should be taken care of, yeah, they say, yeah, we agree with you. Everybody agrees with you. Even the party that is not doing it is agreeing with you that yes, it should. So we're saying, no. You said you're gonna do it, you haven't done it, and we're gonna hold you accountable. For example, the prime minister. One last point: the prime minister said back in 2016, he said that, and you mentioned it. You can sleep with your door and your window open, right? Yeah. Just last year, at Jamaica College, he said, "I am the man to get things done, and you all know it." He said, "If you do a poll, you'll see I am the prime minister that will get." And by the way, gentlemen, you should watch my program last week, Saturday, Reason with Rattigan last week, Saturday, because we played all the videos. He said that. And then what did he say? This was last year. What did he say 2 weeks ago? Or a week and a day ago? What did he say? Oh, we're at war with ourselves, and we need a peace and human development ministry, which I'm going to form. And then this prime minister, I tell you how ill-equipped and how he's not thinking, because here's what he said. He said, we commissioned a report, and the report will be submitted by the end of this year. And we are going to, when we get the report, we are going to establish this ministry. And my first question is, how are you going to establish the ministry without even knowing what the report says? He said he's going to do it. And I'm saying, how are you going to do it without even knowing what the report says? Then the second thing is, sense. No, it makes no sense. Then the second thing is, he's going to start this thing, which tells me that he's saying that the Ministry of National Security is a failure. Then the third thing is, there's something called the Wolf Report that came out in 1993, which was done by Chief Justice Wolf. What's his first name again, Jeffrey? You remember? I can't remember. It starts with L, I think. But anyway, that Wolf Report, you don't need to do another study about crime in Jamaica. Just look at that Wolf Report. Very, very detailed and comprehensive. Comprehensive in scope and meticulous in detail. That report, should you read it, it would read as if it's something that was written yesterday. Right?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, Mr. Rattigan. Don't you believe that accountability is a key factor in deterring crime? Do you believe that the consequences are a deterrent to people committing crime? Do you believe that the kind of education that you get in school would prevent the crimes that we're seeing today? Do you believe that offering our young men and women an option after high school to learn a trade or to learn something that the government first of all should establish what the needs are for the country? That has not been done. Don't you believe that if these persons transitioned into a viable workload, that things would be different?
Let me answer the question like this. Don't you believe that the JCF should be reformed? Pretty much the same way you believe the Constitution should be reformed. It's an 1870s construct. They have no leadership over there. I
believe that. And one more thing. My father was a police officer. He resigned when I was born. Mr. Carrick Batman on 38th, see? In 61 or whatever it was. I know a lot of police friends, and one of the main things that they talk about is that the JCF has become politicized, and the leadership has made it a part of their strategy to consolidate power from the JDF into the JCF, which is why he took Anderson from the JDF into the JCF. It has become, people are now getting promotions based on their political affiliations. Many years ago, that was unheard of. The JCF was independent of these tribal attitudes that exist today. So reform is needed, and accountability for bad performance. I know it sounds vague, but you actually have to start with the justice system. People, if a politician, I gave a good example when I started this program. I talked about Roy Reid walking around for the last 6 years under a cloud of suspicion of being either guilty or not guilty. I'm sure they've had enough receipts, enough evidence of what the man has done. Why isn't he absolved of his crime or gone to prison? This is a direct result, sir, of a lack of accountability to the Jamaican people. And one of the first things I said to you was that we need to reform, have the DPP elected by the people or appointed by an elected Senate.
All right.
We focus on solutions, and what I just said to you a while ago is one of the main reasons.
Yeah, let me just say this.
When my father used to chastise me for coming home late from school or whatever, right? I know I'm going to pay a price. So guess what? I come home early.
All right, Rosalie in the chat, she said I shouldn't say eat, but don't talk out everything. And there's some things I won't talk about, Rosalie. There's a lot on my mind, Rosalie. Believe me. You should see where I sit. A whole bunch of things around me, and we could talk for days about some of the things that I have here. So, Rosalie, I'll take your advice. But
is that Professor Rosalie?
I beg your pardon?
Is that Professor Rosalie?
No, not Rosalie Hamilton.
No, not Professor Rosalie Hamilton.
No.
Okay.
But let me just humbly give a piece of advice to both of you, Mark and Howard. You're both Jamaicans. I care dearly about every single Jamaican. I care about the people of Jamaica. I care about the country of Jamaica. I care about the government of Jamaica, because after the election is over, I believe it's our civic duty, it's our national duty to support whoever is elected until it gets to the point like where we are now, where you just can't support them because of what they're doing. They've become arrogant. They've become drunk on power. Now, here's my piece of advice to both of you when it comes to the crime issues that you just raised about all the things you said. Do you believe? Do you believe? Do you believe? There are 3 things I'm going to ask you to read. And I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to look at your manifesto so that the next time we talk, I can talk intelligently about it. I'm going to ask you to go and look at a document called the National Security Plan. It's online. Okay. I'm also going to ask you to look at a document called Plan Secure Jamaica. It's all over the place. The Prime Minister has been talking about it since 2016. And then I'm going to ask you to look at that 1993 document called the Wolf Report. And people have actually helped me out here by saying his name is Lensley Wolf.
Yes, Lensley Wolf. I did correct you.
Okay. Gentlemen, look at those 3 documents and you will never have a question about crime that you can't answer. Trust me, you will never. If you look at those 3 documents and then you look at what this government is doing, if you will become experts on crime in Jamaica. Trust me on that. That's all I have to say.
Hold on before you go any further. Listen, hold on for a minute. Let me make something clear in this program here. We can agree to disagree in the chat room. And there's a thing going around dubbed by the Jamaica's world-class Minister of Misinformation. And everybody know who I'm talking. Stop talking about people is sell out by the Labour Party or PNP. Please. We can agree to disagree, but when it comes down to saying that people is taking money from the Labour Party, taking money from the PNP, we need to stop it.
Who's taking money? Who's taking money from the Labour Party and PNP?
They're talking in the chat room who's taking money from who's not taking money.
Oh.
Anyway, let's continue.
Well, you know,
I was
like
Mark, give me 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Mark. You know, I listened to Mr. Rattigan. You have some very good points as it relates to the lawsuit. You know, I think that's a very good move. And just based on my experience, you do have standing. So I agree with you 100% right there. Public relations and the beaches. I've been on TikTok doing some programs, and I touched on the beaches, access to the beaches. I touched on background check. So some of the stuff you're doing, you probably have a forum that's better than ours. And the fact that we're not getting contribution or donation, we're putting it out there as we can. But some of these issues that you're touching on, we have been speaking about them. It's just that it might not be getting to mainstream media.
Hold on there.
I applaud.
Let me ask this question here. Hold on a minute for me. You said that Mr. Rattigan has standing.
I believe.
Although he's outside of Jamaica.
Standing. I think so. With the lawsuit.
Okay. Then if he does have standing as a Jamaican citizen who is the holder of a Jamaican passport, he may have dual citizenship, but he's the holder of a Jamaican passport. Then if he has standing in Jamaica, why is it that the court at the present moment is saying to him, the Jamaican, he doesn't have any standing in his own country?
That's what the court says, and that's why I might have to go to the Privy Council, as he's saying. But he does have standing. I'm a Jamaican, and I have dual citizenship, Canada and Jamaica, but I live in the U.S. However, I have a house here that I come to all the time. You know, I pay taxes. Hence, why wouldn't I have standing?
You know, Howard and Mark and Jeffrey, let me tell you how silly this standing argument is, right? There's a gentleman by the name of Michael Lee Chen, who is Canadian Jamaican.
Oh, yeah.
He led a delegation, including the Prime Minister, to Israel in 2016 or 17, right?
2017.
He was a part of confidential discussions, right? They had no member of the diplomatic corps, the Jamaican diplomatic corps, with them. And when he came out, he gave an interview and he said, yeah, I talked to BB and, you know, I'm setting up things because I'm going to come back in 2 months to talk about business with him. So if he can have standing to lead a Jamaican delegation, including the Prime Minister, to go talk about confidential things, and I tell you what, the information that he became privy to, you try and get that through the access to information and see what they'll tell you. They'll tell you it's confidential. You have no act. So it's nonsense.
And that's what Mr. Rattigan. And that's what Mr. Rattigan. The information that he was privy to is based on national security.
That's it. That's my point. That's it. You're exactly
it's based
right.
on national security.
You know, people are not following the laws. They do as they please. You know, and that's, like I said from the start, we don't have accountability, sir. They will do what they want to do, and there's nobody there because of a dual party governance. GLP have secret for PNP, PNP have secret for GLP. So we have to break it up in whatever way that we can. I mean, what you're doing there, I would personally, outside of my affiliation with Jamaica, I'd personally support you because it makes sense. I believe in solutions, and I was very pleased that you took the stand that you did when you went against Camilla and all. Like, I mean, but then again, the court, the justice system needs to be overhauled. If we had a proper judge that's accountable to the people, you would not have had that kind of result. So when I mentioned, you talk about solutions, I said to you when I started, I said, hey, we need to deal with the justice system and to deal with the consequences of one's actions as it relates to crime and corruption. Without those in place, boss, you're not gonna get any. They're gonna laugh at you, like you said earlier with me marching down there with my coffin, right? I gave the example of my father. My father said, "Listen, me coming at this time, or else." If I knew that I'm just gonna walk past him and go into my house when he said to come in at 10 and I come in at 1 o'clock, I'll keep doing it. And that is exactly what is going on in Jamaica today. The government has the justice system in their pockets. They have the media in their pocket, and they do as they will, at will, what they want against the Jamaican people. And you know, sometimes we march, and you know.
Mark and Howard, let me just ask you this quick question: Should the Jamaican people, based on everything that you've said, should the Jamaican people, and I'm not sure if it may be a distinction without a difference, meaning that there might be some slight change, but the end result will be the same. But do you think that the Jamaican people, based on everything you're saying, are you asking them to vote for you, or are you asking them to vote against the JLP and PNP?
We're asking them to vote for themselves.
No, they're not a party. I'm saying they're not a party.
No. What I'm saying to you is that we have put in place an umbrella organization that allows Jamaicans to take charge of their own destiny. That's all we're doing. Because we want the MPs to live in their constituency so they can say eyeball to eyeball with the people that they're serving. What is wrong with that? That's the kind of accountability we're talking about. So we're saying to Jamaicans, A vote for Up Jamaica is a vote for yourself, for the empowerment of yourself.
So then it shouldn't. So then, because I'm kind of confused. So then you shouldn't have. You shouldn't be a political party based on that. Then you should be like an activist group to say
we are as well, sir. No, hold on, Mr. Rattigan. We are as well. We are an activist group, a non-profit organization with a political arm, because you have to get signatures to run. If we have those signatures that are required, anyone that we vetted that wants to serve the people of Jamaica can run under our umbrella. So we're not going to go through this political process and then go home after the elections, my brother.
No. But here's what
we have people in our group that are agricultural, trained in agricultural means. We have builders as myself. I'm a graphic artist. I print T-shirts. I build homes. I do a lot of different things, which is why I was offered the opportunity to go to UWI and to do a presentation on how art transcends into economic opportunities. I was offered that opportunity, and I made that presentation before I came up here for this brief art show. So it's a multifaceted approach to change. It's not just about saying, hey, we're better than them. We are living it. What I'm talking to you about is something that I've actually done. How many people have ended up in parliament that forced the bauxite companies to make a change? None.
Right. But so what? That's why I'm asking you. I'm asking if you go back to the. Can you hear me? It looks like you're having difficulty.
No, somebody called a while ago and it lowered the volume and I can't get back up and I come out and come back in. But I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. The question I asked is: are you asking people to vote for the Up Jamaica political party, or are you asking them to vote against the Jamaica Labour Party, the People's National Party? And you said, I'm asking the people to vote for themselves. And I said, yes, but the people, they're not the ones going into parliament. You would be going into parliament. So, right. So that's why I'm asking when you say,
okay, I'll clarify that. Voting for Up Jamaica is voting for yourself because of the means in which we select our candidates. We do not bring candidates to constituencies. They bring them to us and we financially support them. So what I'm saying to you, when you vote for Up Jamaica, sir, you are voting for the empowerment of yourself. We're not the traditional movement party where they bring people from Norbrook and Cherry Gardens to go down into St. Thomas and to Westmoreland. No. We believe that the MPs must serve in their own constituency. That is what we believe. We believe in full accountability to the people in real time. So when they vote on something in parliament and they're not voting the way that they want, they have to walk past Mr. Jones' gate to go to his gate or her gate, and they're directly accountable to the people. We focused on solutions when we started this movement, sir. Solutions is what we focused on first, because we identified the problem and then we came up with solutions. You asked about crime. We can tell you the essence of what we think will make a difference. We know, and you know as an expert, that is going to require people who are experts in that field, who are not going to be interfered with in the course of doing their work. And Up Jamaica is not going to interfere with law enforcement as they go about doing their work. We put laws in place that they must abide by, and we're not going to interfere if a politician needs to go to jail or what have you. We also have, as Howard mentioned, a recall option. So if a politician is not serving the people that they want in the manner that they want, they can be recalled. That is called accountability. That is making the politician be the servant of the people. Today, that's not what we're having, and no one on this platform can dispute that fact.
But Mark and Howard, glad you're back. But Mark and Howard, listen, the things that you're saying, they're not novel, they're not new. Political parties in Jamaica have made those promises. They just haven't kept them. And now let me just one quick thing. I was told that good leaders, right? Good leaders, the first thing they talk about reality. They don't talk about promises. They talk about situation as they are. And that's the first thing they talk about. And at the last thing they say is thank you. thank you to the people for electing them so that they can serve. And
Well,
in between the discussion about reality and thank you, they are servants of the people. Now, your party, and I'm sure you'll admit to this, faces tremendous challenges for the upcoming elections, right? Given the number of challenges and the significance of those challenges, give us a sense of how do you think the party is going to perform in, you said, well, are you going to contest the local election? Are you? Yes, no?
well, we're doing town halls around Jamaica coming up. And at that point, you have to understand how the system, the government
yes or
works.
no? Will you contest the local election?
We're hopeful. We're hopeful.
All right. But the general election, you definitely will contest.
Yes, that is our intention.
All right. Now give us a sense of how you think the party is going to perform, given the head start that the other parties have over you and the challenges you face independent of that head start. Give us a sense of the prospects of your performance.
The prospects of us doing well are aligned with a couple of boosters. The boost that we have is the realization by the Jamaicans that no better barrel, no better broom. They do not see any significant change between the JLP and the PNP. We are attracting independents, the 70% of people who do not vote in Jamaica. That has been very helpful to us. We are also attracting people who are solution oriented, who are willing to work on the ground, who are willing to contribute their ideas for change. That is very encouraging for us. And from my standpoint, I'm doing this because I love my country. I believe, I sincerely believe that we have the ability to be a beacon of the Caribbean and the world. We've always done that. If you look on our ancestors, look on Marcus Garvey, look on the respect we had in the third world, so-called third world, with Manley as our third world leader. Our advocacy in South Africa, Angola. We are leaders. We have been demoralized. We are not at the point of being recolonized. And as a person who is schooled and have some sense of responsibility to my country, I cannot stand by and watch this level of dysfunction and not try to do something. I am not going to leave this world with a burden of regret, knowing that in this dispensation, I did not try by the means available to us to change my country. Yes. And like I said to you before, we are not an exclusive club. We are very open to advice from people, because at the end of the day, our direction is the fulfillment of all the aspirations of the Jamaican people. We're all descendants of the enslaved, and we have a responsibility. If we know better, if some of us are educated more than others, if we know better, then we ought to do better. And all it takes is a love of country, a compassion, the empathy that's required for change. And I think if we put all those elements together and the spirit of the Jamaican people, it's a no-brainer that we as a country will be successful. Yes. I have no doubt about that. And I'm not a person to give up. I do not believe in the word can't. Can't is not in my vocabulary. And if you Google me and look at all the things I've done in my life, can't is a word I look at the level of disdain you not even imagine. So
go ahead, Ratty.
Tell me impossible, then I can deal with that. But I'm not going to give up unless I try.
Yes, gentlemen, we gotta go now because tomorrow's the next day. Go ahead, Mr. Rattigan.
Yep. One quick question. We didn't touch on a very significant issue, and I just want you to just give us your perspective on it.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Foreign affairs, because Jamaica cannot survive without foreign partners. What's your take on? Give us your organization's perspective on foreign affairs?
Our perspective is based on non-alignment, partners with all who desire to be friends with our country. We understand that there are elements abroad that have their own interests at heart, but we have to articulate a Jamaican position that benefits the Jamaican people, and we have to be honest about it. We have to be honest about what has come to us. If we are threatened by anyone to do as they wish, the Jamaican people are going to know about it. We are not a government that's gonna behave in
for example,
secrecy.
So, for example, if the U.S. government came to you and they said, "Hey, you know what? We have an issue with Venezuela and its politics," you know, as they did previously with this government, and they said, "So therefore, we want you to terminate your relationship with the U.S. with Venezuela." It could be any country. They said, "Country A, we just have an issue with them, and they're in the Caribbean. We want you to temper your relationship, change your relationship, modify your relationship with them, and here's how we want you to do it." Are you going to say to them, and it's the U.S. and they provided a tons of money through USAID and other agencies? Are you going to say, "Hell no, we're not going to do that because we're independent and we believe in the rule of law, and you know our people don't want it, and so we're not going to do it"? Would that be your position?
You've asked a very difficult question that was once asked of Michael Manley, and I will speak as an individual and not as the because obviously, like Howard rightfully said, we operate as a council. We serve at the interest of the Jamaican people. If an outside country says we should not deal with a country that they don't like, we have to look on our own morals and look to see if that country's behavior is not in sync with our morals. At the end of the day, we serve based on our experience and what's best beneficial to the Jamaican people. Now, which is why I said to you before, we will have to put that to the Jamaican people. So if there are consequences of our actions, they will have to bear the responsibility of the direction that we have taken.
But Mark, in the foreign policy arena, it doesn't work like that. This is not constitutional reformation. No, when a country comes to you, have a cabinet. They make decisions for the people. They don't go to the people and say, "Hey, guess what? The U.S. government is asking us to terminate a relationship with."
No, hold on. Okay, I was trying to give you a very simplistic way of answering that question. In an Up Jamaica government, you're dealing with legislators that are put in there by the people, for the people, not appointed. Appointed. So they are accountable to the people. Now, I also explained to you that every MP will be serving in the constituency in which they live. Now, I foresee regular town hall meetings with the people because we serve at the people's request. We believe that we should be transparent. We don't believe in secrets. So if anything that comes to us that is unjust and goes against the attitudes of our country and our background as a people who are freedom fighters, who have gone against the British Empire, the Maroons, and our history, we are not going to really, which is one of the reasons why one of the things that we're focusing on is farming. You know, Henry Kissinger has said in the past that food, when you control somebody's stomach, that is when you get their attention. We are focusing on self-reliance. We are focusing on feeding ourselves, which is one of the reasons why we talked about the basic school. Every child should have meals in basic school, because not every child can afford, every parent can afford to pay for their child to go to school, and they take turns.
I think we're straying though from the foreign affairs question. But let me just make it very, very simple, because I don't think I explained it as well as I should. that a government that is supporting Jamaica, a foreign government
Yeah.
that has
Mhm.
significant interest in Jamaica, supporting it to the hilt. They come and they say, we want you to cast a certain vote in the UN a certain way, or we want you to reform, modify, change your behavior with another country, a country that you have relations with. Now you say under your government, you're going to go to the people through the representatives, and you're going to say, hey, is this in alignment with our moral fabric? And if the people, if your representatives, they come back and they said, no, we don't agree with it, then you're going to turn around and you're going to say to that government that's supporting you, you said we cannot. I'm getting a feedback.
Well,
Yeah, can
let me say this to you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but you're having a feedback. You have two devices on or something? Hello?
Well, while he figures out this device, right?
Yeah, but you have feedback. You have two devices on or something?
No, I don't. It's off.
Say that.
All I can say to you is that, and this is my personal opinion.
Like I'm having issues
I cannot be bought or bribed. I cannot be bought or bribed. And at the end of the day, I have to live with myself. I have to go to bed at night and sleep with myself. I'd rather sleep on a 3 sheet of zinc.
No, I don't.
Than bow down to anybody.
So
that's me. That's me.
Opinion. I cannot be bought.
Something is not right here. Hold on.
Getting the feedback.
Somebody has another.
I don't have anything on.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Ratty. I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
So then you would say to all of the projects then that this government, USAID and all the foreign aid and foreign this and foreign that, you'll say to the Jamaican people, listen, you know what? We don't want any of that. We're not going to go that course with these people, and we're not going to negotiate our morality. We're not going to do any of this stuff. And so if you suffer, well, we're just going to have to tough it out, but I'm not going to do that. Is that your perspective?
Mr. Rattigan, do you know that aid can be a ball and chain? You realize that?
No, you should realize that, because you're the one.
No, but what I'm saying to you, I'm saying that, what I'm saying to you is that one of the things I spoke about when we first started this discussion was self-reliance. We have to get to a point in our country where if we are not doing the will of those who have more resources, then we can take care of ourselves. We're not doing that. I spoke to you and I was very specific. They're building homes on plantation land. We are not teaching our children in a manner that is good for our own development. That's the focus. By the same token, when you have your hand in the alligator mouth or the crocodile mouth, you have to take it out slowly. So we can't be foolish.
Hold on for me, Mr. I think
you can't be foolish.
I think what Mr. Rattigan is saying, you see, and we're going to close off now, is that Jamaica and Venezuela has been friends for years.
Yes.
Venezuela has been giving Jamaica oil at a reduced price.
Yeah.
Caracas has been giving oil at a reduced price. Under the Trump administration, okay, they had some big forum at Mar-a-Lago where
Mar-a-Lago, yeah.
Went. Right. And apparently there was some vote in the UN pertaining to Venezuela. And Jamaica voted against Venezuela. So the question I think is already asking you, if you come to that part where you have to vote against a country who is helping you when it comes down to crude oil and so forth, what would your stance be?
Speaking as from my perspective, I would not vote. I would side with Venezuela. That is my personal position. I would side with Venezuela because they've helped us. They've helped us. You should not, any country that that asks you to go against your self-interest may not be your friend, unfortunately. You know, we cannot be bought. I cannot be bought. I cannot be bribed. Okay? I know some mistake. Now, like I said to you, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the other members in the core members in our group. But you can't buy me. If you try to bribe me, you're insulting me. And I would take it personally. So if I'm brought to that position, and I've given that ultimatum, I'm going to bring to the Jamaican people. And in some cases, this might sound very novel to you. In some cases, they might be a bit embarrassed, even having me reveal this to them. But we serve at the will of the Jamaican people at the end of the day. We have no secrets. We have no secrets. So if somebody threatens us, you threaten the entire Jamaican population. They're going to know about it. There are no secrets in our government.
You know something, Mr. Cameron? You're a very astute politician, you know. You dance around the questions, man.
I'm not dancing on, brethren. I just told you that I would. I just told you that I would side with Venezuela. I said that.
All right, Mark.
I was clear. How much clearer do you want to be than that, brethren?
Mark, let me just say something. You said that you, in your personal capacity, wouldn't do it, but you can't speak for your party. All right? Am I correct?
On the topics we're discussing, no.
Yes.
Number one, I don't think you could go to any political movement and ask these kind of questions without getting vetted on what you're going to ask them. I'm answering on the cuff. We're answering on the cuff. We weren't giving any heads up on what you're going to ask.
Let me say this to you. Hold on for me. Let me say this to you. With all fairness, when I had Mark Golden on my program, I didn't vet. I asked him any question after I asked him. Nobody told me what to ask him, what to ask him. And I'm pretty much sure I have to Mr. Rattigan too.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that.
No, because here's the thing, Mark.
Go ahead.
One of the hallmarks of a good politician is that you're able to think on your feet, and you shouldn't rely on. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying you shouldn't rely on canned questions or give people questions to ask or anything like that. You should be able to stand up and answer questions from the people. And
well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, but then you started saying that you started shifting and saying, well, other people, you don't know if you weren't prepared for this, but you're answering the questions.
No, I'll tell you why I said that. I'll tell you why I said that. I went on 2 other programs, and they asked me the same question. Can we, what they're going to ask me? And I said, no. I said, you can ask me any question you like. So the fact that they asked me that question shows that they've had a history of having their questions vetted, which is why I said that.
All right, let me say something to you.
Mr. Tavares just told me a while ago that in the context of Mark Golden's interview, that was not the case, to which I'm pleasantly surprised.
No, and in my case, he did not. They did not ask for. They did
not. Okay, so that is really good to know. I'm happy to hear that.
Let me just say something to you, right? I've had the pleasure and the distinction of serving as a U.S. diplomat for about 8 years, right? And for that particular question, that foreign affairs question, because a lot of Jamaicans don't seem to really focus on it, but they should, because that's how you get, your freebies. That's how you get your fertilizer, your 10.5 million pounds of fertilizer from Morocco, right? That's how you get monies to build community centers. That's how, because Jamaican taxpayers cannot afford to do that, and government doesn't have money. There's no such thing as government funded. It's taxpayer funded. It's taxpayers' money, right? But here's what I'd suggest to you, because I really like you, and I really like what you're trying to do. Not that I would support the party or become a member of the party, but anything against corruption, anything for transparency and accountability and good governance, I'm for. And as far as the crime issue, if you need any assistance with that, you can reach out to me. If you need any assistance with the foreign affairs question, I'm here for you. Those 2 areas, I'm very well versed in those 2 areas.
Yes. And on that note,
well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate your candor and your insightful questions. All I can say to you is that I love my country. I am a true Jamaican. I'm a true Jamaican in every sense of the word, brethren. I don't give up so easy,
Me too.
Like I said to you, when you Google me, you saw me I deal with. right? I don't take no for an answer that easily either.
Me too.
So if I want to get something done, I'm going to do all that is necessary to get it done. And I love my country and I want my country to work. I moved back
Me
to
too.
Jamaica. I spent millions of dollars moving back, building my house down there when man I run left Jamaica. I moved back. I moved back 18 years ago, you know. And I've been mentoring people. I have a little youth I'm mentoring right now. And if he does well, he'll get a welding machine because I teach him how to weld. So I want to empower my people through the resources we have available. I believe that the true Jamaican spirit will emerge if we have given equal opportunity. And I'll give you one good example. I think it's a good example. And I always come back to track and field, right? If Jamaica only consists of Kingston, we would only have Shelley and Fraser as a champion. There will be no Usain Bolt. Now, the argument to what I'm just telling you is that when you give all Jamaicans an opportunity to shine, you will get a Johan Blake, you will get a Bertrand Cameron from Clarendon, you will get a Usain Bolt from Trelawney. So this is just a microcosm of the bigger picture. If you look on the whole picture and you give all Jamaicans equal opportunity, we might have people that might be able to cure cancer and fix all the issues we have in this country. But if it's kept to a small group of people, a clique, party loyalists, we're not getting a country based on meritocracy. We're not getting a country that is going to be sustainable and it's a very serious time. We need the best help on board. We need all hands on board, you know. We need all hands on board. And once again, I'm going to say this to the whole Jamaica. Look us up. We invite all of you to support us and support what we're trying to do. And we may not know everything. We want to talk to you. We want you to engage us and offer your suggestions and to see how best we can formulate the best strategy that's going to help our country, that's going to be beneficial to all, based on a philosophy of collective rising. We believe that rich man can't be rich unless there are viable people that are going to support his or her product. And that is the way we have to do it. Across the board, the justice system, equal justice, equal opportunity, making schools a priority, helping those with a hand up rather than a handout. Those are the things we need to be doing. And we're not just talking about it. Because this is not what the trajectory we're on today is not something that for the faint of heart. My mother warned me, brethren, before she died. She just died on her birthday at 95 years old. She said, "Mark, I do not want to know my son is in politics." I said, "Mommy, I'm burdened. I'm burdened. I can't help but try to do something to help my people. If I keep quiet today and not say anything, I'll be safe." And everybody likes to be safe. You think Jamaica easy to look on all the problems we've had with killings of innocent people and based on just accusations from another person or a political party. When we are trying to do what we're doing now, we are box full out of people mouth, you know. And that we are doing now. You think what we're doing is something easier that I want to do? We can't stay in a man level and just keep live a quiet life and just do my thing and not even deal with anything, because I like to mentor people. I like to teach people how to paint. I like to engage on these levels of innovation and helping people to be empowered. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do this, but Mr. Rattigan and Mr. Tavares, we don't have any other option. The time it's a desperate time for us right now.
Right, and that is why right now we have to just say we gotta wrap up this. Say to all our friends and family on the Make We Talk program here on YouTube to like, share, and subscribe. This has been a great discussion. We're gonna have the final comment from both Wilfred Rattigan and Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, 2 minutes. Final words to the Jamaican people. And I go to Mr. Rattigan. Mr. Cunningham?
I think he's frozen.
Go ahead, Mr. Rattigan.
It's just, all right.
Oh, Mr. Cunningham, your final words to the Jamaican people before you go. 2 minutes, sir. 2 minutes.
I don't think he's hearing you. Mark,
Are you talking about Cunningham or are you talking about Mr. McDonald?
No, I'm talking about you.
No,
We're gonna close off now, so give me a final comment, please. Mr. Cunningham.
The final comment is that we're looking for your support. We're looking for your suggestions.
Cameron,
and we're looking for people who are willing to serve. We're not offering a job. We don't want nobody to come in and look for job. MP is not a job. Council is not a job. I want people to come in to serve. I served as a homeowners association person. I don't get paid for that. We want people who are there to serve. If you want a job, go somewhere else. We need people in Jamaica. Jamaica doesn't have the kind of money that we have that we're paying out today. We need to have people coming here with their ideas that are willing to serve our country, that love our country. Love of countries is an important criteria to be part of the Up Jamaica movement. We don't want people who are trying to leech off of the country. We're tired of that. We're tired of people coming here trying to get money out of the country that we don't have. We're borrowing and liquidating assets to pay our bills.
Yes.
We need people who are coming to contribute, and we ask for your full support. We're going to have, you can look on our website and look on our manifesto for change. And if you'd like to call us, call me personally. You can call me at 561-777-0557, or in a couple weeks, 338-1893. That's 338. That's 1-876-338-1893. In 2 weeks, you can call me on the Jamaica number. But 561-777-0557. We're willing to take your calls and talk about how you can be a part of this movement.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Sorry to call you Cunningham a while ago. I don't know why I ended up saying Cunningham. Cameron, thank you so much. Wilfred Rattigan.
Yes, sir. Mark just said that he said, do you think I want to do this? I don't want to do this. He said, I could be doing something else. I could live in a quiet life and do my thing. Do I want to do this? Well, from my perspective, I want to do this. I need to do this for the people behind me.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Mr. Rattigan, I'm burdened. I have to do it.
We don't have enough time, leave. I'm getting the wrap-up signal.
No, I'm not saying I have to do it because I'm burdened.
Okay.
So whether I want to or not, I'm sure you didn't get up one morning, Mr. Rattigan, and say, boy, I want to do this. No, you're doing it because you're forced to do it.
No,
because of what you're seeing.
I got up one morning and said I want to do it.
Because of what you see that's not going right in your country. It's the same way for me. I'm saying to you, I'd rather be doing something else than doing this. But I have no choice because this is a burden to us and to our members.
No,
just want to be clear on that.
All right. What I can tell you is that this is certainly an improvement on the discussions that we've had, Jeffrey, with the UIC.
Yes.
I mean, I give Mark and his brethren, give them credit for coming on and explaining and reaching out to the public as to why they're doing what they're doing and their purpose, their mandate, their goals, their objectives. Now, I don't know how many times I have to say this. I've never voted in Jamaica. Never voted. And I just became politically astute and aware over the last 1 year I've been doing this, right? And my job and the mandate of the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation is to hold government, and I say government, I actually mean it in the plural, governments, this government and subsequent governments accountable. And all of the things that you mentioned, Mark, rule of law, good governance, all of those things, transparency, we subscribe to those philosophies, those beliefs, those principles. And I don't have to be, people keep asking me if I'm a member of a party. I don't have to be a member of a party to have an interest in my people. And in fact, not being a member of a party actually gives me the flexibility and the freedom to say whatever I want to say without being coached or without being given talking points, saying you can only say this, you can say that. So whatever I say it on behalf of Wilfred Rattigan, on behalf of the people of Jamaica. Not saying this on behalf of any political party, because once you start doing that, you start pigeonholing yourself. And I'm not about that. I just want to say what I want to say and do what I want, what I can for my people. And I will, Mark, look, I wish you all the best in your endeavors. I'm not convinced that I should be a member of your party, but I'm convinced that I should align with some of the principles that you're espousing and some of the things that you're trying to achieve. So with that, sir, I just want to thank you for making yourself available. And I'm here at your service. Whatever you need, you just give me a call. Because, you know, in unity, there is strength. We don't have to agree on everything, but there are certain things that you and I definitely agree on.
Yes. I definitely reach out to you, and I definitely support your initiative that you're doing now with as regards to the lawsuits. That's something that I will do on my own outside of Jamaica, because I support that.
Okay, thanks very much. And I just want to let our viewers know that when we first started the programs, Rat used to come on my program, the Make We Talk program, a lot. And I remember when they gave me the name. What the name they gave me again, Rattigan?
Well done.
The Poor People Defender.
Oh, Poor People Defender, yeah.
Yes.
The Poor People Defender, yeah.
You gave me the name, the Poor People Defender, and you gave yourself the name, the Rebel.
Rebel.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have been at it for over a year. I've been at it way before Mr. Rattigan. And why I'm saying this is because we don't get paid to do this. We do it out of the love for our country, our countrymen. Not for any political party. Not for any political party whatsoever. And so tonight, as we close this program, I just want to say to everyone on this program, do it for your country. Do it for the love of Jamaica. Because within that rock, it is bleeding somewhere. As I normally say, we came here by labor pain, not by aeroplane, nor party pain. We are Jamaicans and we remain Jamaicans. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Until you hear my voice again, until you see me again, maybe tomorrow or some other time. May God bless you. Sir, you have something you want to say?
Yeah. Jeffrey, let me just say one thing to there's somebody in the chat who's been asking this one question all along. His name is, this person's name is Full Disclosure, and they want to know, I need to declare how much money Camino lawsuit cost.
Oh yes, I got to say that to you.
Yeah, the first thing I just want to know, full disclosure, is a tax representative. I don't know, but full disclosure, what I would suggest you do is, if you believe in the things that I'm doing, then support the One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund, our foundation, and don't worry about how much money it's costing us, because at the end of the day, it's going towards a very good cause. Because if the Jamaican government is going to say that you don't have standing unless you are materially and personally affected by something that a politician does, then that affects every single Jamaican in and outside of Jamaica. And so instead of asking me how much money I've spent on the Camino lawsuit, I think you should say, how much money can I contribute to help with the Camino appeal and the other cases. So I thank you for your question, but I think it's misdirected. But like I said, just support the One Jamaica Legal Defense Fund and we'll be fine. Don't worry about the how much money it's costing, because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit all of us. We're now people, you know what? Somebody told me, and I don't mean to go much longer, Jeffrey, but somebody told me, they said, you know, Rattigan, this is the first time in the history of Jamaica that a Jamaican has brought a personal lawsuit against a sitting minister for violating administrative regulations. And the person said to me, you know what happened? No, everybody now realize that them can't sue too. Everybody realize, him say, me, you're a coconut man, a man I sell coconut water, talk to some police. So I'm saying, hey, me sue you if you do this. Me sue you like how Rattigan gonna sue them. So, you know, So people will always come up with all kinds of things. So this person here, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Full disclosure, asking it. So full disclosure, in terms of full disclosure, just send some money to the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation and watch us go to work. In fact, full disclosure, stay tuned because, like I said, this week, or latest next week, we're going to file a lawsuit against the Speaker of the House. So stay tuned for that.
How do you contribute, Rattigan?
It's Jeffrey. It's if you go to One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, ojldf.org, and if you go to that, that's the website, and the funding streams.
I can send you the link. You know, Mark, I can send you the link.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So, Mr. Rattigan, anything more you have to say to the viewers before we go?
Thank you for having me. And Saturday, please tune in to Reason with Rattigan. We have some exciting guests, as usual, and some significant topics. Because as you know, Jeffrey, we don't do tabloid, as Lonesome would say, and we don't care who people sleeping with or you know what they're doing. All we care about is holding the government accountable. And we're gonna do part 4 of the Prime Minister's lies, misrepresentations, and unfulfilled promises. And then we have some other topics as well, but we're going to do part 4 of that regarding the Prime Minister. We're also going to do something on the Speaker as well and the Integrity Commission. So stay tuned for that. Oh, and by the way, if for people in the diaspora shipping barrels home, although some of you might be a bit late now, we'll have somebody to speak on that, the do's and don'ts of shipping packages and barrels to Jamaica at this time of the year, the festive season. Thank you very much.
And please remember, those who have not liked, share, and subscribe, please do so to the Make We Talk Jefferton Virus YouTube channel right now. Please, looking for your support. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Gentle people, thank you very much. I want to say thanks to Mr. Mark Cameron. Thanks to Mr. Howard McDonald. Thanks to our good friend Wilfred Rattigan. I can see everybody in the chat room bigging up Ratty. And they love Rattigan and they love what he's doing. They love everybody what they're doing. And gentle people, as I said before, no party is paying us to do anything. Neither the PNP nor the JLP nor the this or the that. Not paying us to do anything. We do this out of the love of country. Out of the love of country. I grew up in a political home. And I'm telling you this. They didn't dictate to me what party I should support. I decide what party I want to support, and I support none. Because if both of them has carried this country down to the ditch. And until we come together as a people and stand up as one Jamaican, as the political party, PNP and JLP, stand up as one Jamaican, that Jamaica will not be a better place if we don't stand up as one. And for those in the diaspora, for all those in the diaspora, the time has come for us to rally around a single cause and a single purpose. Rally around Jamaica. Rally around the One Legal Defense Fund. This is the time for us to rally around and stand up for this country. I asked the Prime Minister a question at the town hall meeting that me and Richard Rattigan was on about the term limits. And the man danced around the damn question and just realized.
He also said fixed election dates.
That's what I asked him about. And I'm going to ask him the question again.
Well, send me the link and I'll put it on my page. I have over 5,000 people on my page. Okay. I will definitely support the League, the Defense Fund, because I think accountable, I mean, that holds me accountable, you know.
Yes.
We've done this protesting thing too long and it doesn't get us anywhere. They laugh, like you say, let them laugh after you.
Right.
That is something that can work. You know, yes. when they have to address a lawsuit, that gets people attention.
Yes. So and I say this to say this, that this week, sometime this week, myself, Wilfred Rattigan, Herb Nelson Jr., and I can call him Ambassador Curtis Ward name, will be on a Zoom town hall meeting with the Prime Minister of Jamaica and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Camilla Johnson Smith. And I'm making it known. I hope the Jamaican ambassador to Washington don't block us, you know. Because we're coming in here to ask some questions that the people need answers from. Why are you laughing, Ratty?
Because you know what's gonna happen now.
Listen, there's many ways to dance around this thing, you know.
Oh, let me just mention this, Jeffrey. People, if you want to worry, if you're wondering about the effectiveness of lawsuits, people say, well, in Jamaica you can't get you can't get a good judgment because this and that and that. I tend to think not, because judges are people like us now. They make mistakes too, and that's why they have a mechanism called appeal. But in addition to that, I just want to remind people that in Barbados there was a case where the government essentially stole land from people. Right? They did some fancy dancing and zigzagging and took the land from people. And the people filed lawsuits in Barbados for years and they went nowhere. And eventually they found a way to get jurisdiction in the US out of Miami. And I think it was last year or this year, early this year.
The year before.
There was a trial. There's a trial. And the jury came back with a guilty verdict against the people they found them liable, and they awarded the people $100 and something million US. So we're piggybacking on
Yes.
those jurisdictional issues as well. So if we can get jurisdiction in the US, we are going to use the US as well. And I'm telling you, if you think that you're not getting their attention with a lawsuit, trust me, you're wrong. Whether it's Jamaica, but especially if it's outside of Jamaica, they're very, very worried about that. Very, very worried about that.
Yeah.
And especially when we start working with the International Corruption Unit of the FBI, because now we're not talking about civil judgments. We're talking about prison terms. That's what we're talking about. So there you go.
And somebody's saying in the chat room that, Jeffrey, you and Rattigan should ask the Prime Minister to name the 6 to name the 6 parliamentarians at the town hall meeting. He will never name the 6, my good friend.
You know, as my favorite minister, the Honorable Minister Kamina Johnson Smith would say, that will never happen.
Not gonna happen.
Later, Jeffrey.
For all those cares have been our concern. The work goes on, the cause endure, the hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. On the behalf of all of us here at the McDonald, Wilfred Rattigan, talk show host, Mark Cameron, a member of the Up Jamaica group, political group, Lord Howard McDonald. This is where we say so long from here. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us. And please remember, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica land.
Respect.
Have a good night, everybody.
Let's up.
Yes, boss.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.